Yeah.
Oh no!
Matt, what the hell was that?
Wasn't me, coach. Welcome to the Straight Red Card. Get off our lawn.
Welcome to the Straight Red Card. Make sure you like, subscribe, share it with your grandma. And if you're trying to put something big in a rather tight space, you can always lube it up with some KY jelly, unless you're related to her or she's your stepsister. Then probably not. Probably not a good idea.
Changing stance on the whole stepsister thing now, aren't you, Derek?
No. You're not supposed to have sex with your stepsister. Remember that one guy who posted that one time? He's like, "Now these two Nimrods I'll have to use all that KY because they can't get the chick hot enough to get wet." Remember that guy? It's like, no, dude, maybe I'm sticking it somewhere else. Have you ever thought of that? That doesn't have natural lubricant? Ever thought of that? Just a thought.
So many odd ways to go with that one. So I'm just going to skip that and go right to here.
Well, it's not her nostrils, obviously. Hey, I'm going to turn on comments today. I didn't last time. All right. The turd in the background says, "Welcome back to the Straight Red Card. Folks, we got him. Balogun is ours. We got Zendejas. We'll get Balo. Time for Jonathan Gomez. But as Meatloaf said, 2 out of 3. Ain't bad. My wife also got a dildo." Well, she gets one every show, it seems like. So, I mean, her collection must fill the whole closet at this point.
Yeah, some women like to get shoes.
She might have shoes too. We don't know.
Man, I feel bad for you, sir.
This guy could be poor as hell. By the way, still nobody to this day knows what fucking Meatloaf meant when he says, well, no, because the song's "I want you, I need you, but there ain't no way I'm ever gonna love you, so don't be sad," right? He's saying don't be sad because 2 out of 3 ain't bad, so let's go back to fucking is what he's saying, I think. Right? He's saying, hey, I want you, I need you, but there ain't no way I'm ever gonna love you, so let's just get back to fucking. All right? Let's talk about, like, stop all this love talk.
Sad enough that I know this much of it, but I only know one Meatloaf song.
I think you probably know others.
I probably would recognize one of those things.
There's another one too that has questionable. I won't do that, but I won't do that. Nobody knows what that is. But nobody knows what that is. But
he's not gonna take one up the bum. That's what he's saying. I'm not taking up the bum. I'll do anything for love, just not that.
Hey, baby, please de-strap the strap on. Please, that ain't happening. I'm gonna do anything for love, but I ain't doing that, baby. All right. What is it that Meatloaf wouldn't do for love? We don't quite know, but it could have been that 10-incher that Brett takes on the regular from EB. All right. Hey, you're the one who put it in the cartoon, not me. You wrote it that.
I'm more than comfortable with running with that, Derek. I have no problem with smiling and nodding and saying, "Yep."
You wrote the script for that. You can't blame me.
Like I said, Derek, I clearly didn't have a problem with joking around about that, so it's fine. You can keep bringing it up every show; it doesn't matter to me.
All right, Adam Wiggins says,
"What's going to happen? There's going to be a bunch of internet people out there going like, Brett takes it up the butt." Like, okay, what am I going to do about that?
I mean, it's okay with me if you do. All right, the new bingo cards. And by the way, Adam Wiggins says exit only. Must be talking about nostrils, ears,
or what Meatloaf will not do.
Yeah, well, yeah, but I don't know. Anyhow, I'm not going to get into the personal preference there. Some people like it in multiple different places. Straight Red Card bingo card, the new one. Derek loves Meg. I haven't said that enough lately, have I?
Yeah.
I love Meg. Meg is just
this doesn't count, guys. He's reading them off. He can't count these, okay? Let's play this. Let's play this game for legit real.
Yeah, you shouldn't show me these.
Well, look away, Derek. Look away. Here's card number 2. Card number 2.
Okay.
And card number 3. All new ones. Kind of.
Okay, you let me know when we're done.
You're good. You're good. Whoa, wait a second.
Okay, can you believe what Byron just did? Someone says, "I'm not a happy fan." I have no idea what Byron just did.
Tuchel has agreed to be the new coach for Bayern.
What?
Yes.
Just because they're in second?
Yes.
Like momentarily in second? I guess you know what? Nothing is ever good enough for Bryan unless they're first.
You gotta keep mixing up. They go with the one cycle thing too, mind you. It's more than one year, of course, for them. But it's like a 4-year cycle. You get a new coach. 4-year cycle, you get a new coach. You gotta keep it fresh.
Right. Hey, Diego's already asking why he hasn't been added to the bingo yet. Well, because you're probably not on every show, and so yeah, that's probably why.
Yeah, that's tough. That's got to be like one of the side ones that aren't on the corners. That you don't necessarily, you're not relying on it.
So poor Chris grabbed a card that doesn't have Jizz Talk on it. Sorry to hear that, Chris.
Yeah, Chris, you said you were going to take the second card, and I thought to myself, like, man, it's a rough one.
That one looks harder. All right.
That's what she said.
That's boom, boom, boom.
Hey-o.
All right. Let's get to some stuff. You got stuff for me. Stuff maybe I haven't seen. Stuff that, I mean, I've been busy today. I've been in meetings all day.
Yeah.
Haven't really had much of a time to look at any of the Twitters. I just got home like 45 minutes before the show was going to go on. As you know, I had a meeting with soccer people, and not going into any details about that, but yeah. What do we got here?
Well, let's start the show off with a little bit of humor, because
no,
that'd be a good one.
No humor. I don't think we do that around here. You're watching the Florida Channel? What the hell is this? Oh God, are you bringing politics onto this show?
Not really, no.
Okay.
Okay, I'm not. There's not even a build up for this, so let's. We're just gonna play it. Okay.
All right.
Key Florida Station of Counties waves in opposition. Pamela Birch Fort, Florida State Conference of NAACP branches waves in opposition. Anita Dick is an opponent. Waves in opposition.
Oh God.
Holden Hiscock waves in opposition.
That face, man.
Jimmy, Florida Apartment Association. Key, Florida Station of County.
Oh my God. Holding his cock.
Holding his cock. He's like, I need a dick.
It didn't even occur to him. It didn't occur to him for a second.
Oh no.
Oh boy, we've got some real tools running this country. That's all I gotta say. Real tools who just have no self-awareness whatsoever. The way he said it, I need a dick.
You know, if he didn't pause and he just read it and like I need a dick. It's an opposition. That would have been cool. But he's like, I need a dick.
It's an opposition.
He looks
he's trying to make
like
a point.
Headlights. And he's like, oh, they can't see me now. I said it.
I think for a second I thought he heard it, but he didn't. So there you go.
No, come on. And he tried to muscle through and move on. And he's like holding his cock.
No, I don't think he got either of those.
He absolutely got the Anita Dick one because he looked up like he was like, oh
no,
shit.
He didn't. No, he was trying to make a point, a political point that all these people are in opposition or waving.
There's a reason why he paused, looked up at the camera with the wide eyes, like, oh, I just said this one.
No,
complete bullshit. I think he knew.
No, I don't think so. I think he was trying to make a point.
Might have gotten away from him, but Anita Dick. I mean, come on.
No, I don't think he got it. I don't think he got it. No, he didn't.
Pete would rewrite through that. I think he figured it out.
No, I mean, then you don't.
Jonathan's got it. I thought he got it.
Oh yeah, Jonathan's got it because
he got the first one.
If he got the first one, why was he so careless with the next one? Seriously.
Maybe he's just realizing there's gonna be some bullshit ones. He just rammed right through them.
Rammed right through them.
Yes.
All right, what else we got?
We've got some transfer news already. You thought you were out of the transfer season, Derek, but we are back in it.
All right. What are we doing? Who are we talking about?
We got Tim Weah. Tim Weah is one name that's being followed at Juventus.
Oh, for fuck's sake. More Juventus.
This is a nice bingo card right here.
I don't know, man.
He is appreciated by Juve scouts. Weah can play as a winger or a fullback. Now, I had this back and forth conversation with a couple people. He would be Di Maria's clearly 1 foot out because Juve's not going to re-sign him because of how much he costs. And they have to cut back on costs.
Yeah.
Cuadrado is aging also, and that's basically your right side. Right wing back. And he can fill the role. I'm not saying he's going.
No,
all
I
I'm
don't.
saying is he could fill the role there perfectly fine.
Who's a better team, Lille or Juventus?
I mean,
Juventus.
currently, I guess Lille is because of placement, but Juve was like second place or third place before they got hit with all those dings. So I mean,
if they played 10 times, Juventus is beating them 7 out of 10 times.
Oh, sure, yes, I'll agree with that. Yeah.
So what you're telling me is he's moving from a team where he can't get any starts unless he plays fucking as a left back or a right back, and he's going to go to Juventus.
It'd be right back or right wing in this sense.
I don't know. I'm kind of. I just want him to go somewhere where he's going to play.
Because again, those spots are pretty much going to be opening up here soon.
Just go to Rems and go play with Balogun. Of course, he's going to leave.
He's going to leave. Rems.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. I get a little sick of these massive club ones because it's kind of like, yeah, do I really want to believe this? He was on a massive club. Now he's at Lille, who's sort of a good club. And he's not really going to play much unless he plays as a back. So I don't know. Unless Juventus just has him as a back, period, going forward. But isn't that going to limit Weah in his development?
Not necessarily. Juve's wingbacks are pretty active moving forward. So, I mean, it could be a suitable location for him.
I mean, if it's wingback, okay.
Yeah, they don't play without outright backs. They play with wingbacks, man.
I've seen them play other formations, and we don't know who the manager's going to be next season either.
That's also fair.
So there's a lot of ifs going on here. So I'm fine with somebody talking about it. But again, he said followed at Juventus. Okay, motherfucker, they follow everybody. Stop using the word follow, because I could say that about anything, almost anything. So either they're very interested or they have shown interest. They have contacted his agent, but don't say follow, because they follow hundreds of motherfuckers. Okay, that's their job.
Mm-hmm.
Larry, don't speak ill of George Weah's son. What?
I don't think we spoke ill. Well, it's not like we said he couldn't go there and couldn't play.
No, I don't want to play left back.
Yeah, Derek was saying that by going there and playing as a wing back, it might hamper him as a player.
I mean, I think he's a forward. I'm sorry. I'd like to see him play as a forward.
I concur.
So go somewhere where you can play as a forward.
I still think he would be if Allegri stays and they keep the same formation or same system, basically, I think he could be a very good player there.
Maybe.
Whether or not that's the best thing for him, I don't know.
Yeah, I guess I just want to see him go to a team where he can play forward every game, kind of like our Canadian friends do, and score a lot of goals. Kind of like Balogun does, and scores a lot of goals.
You got Sargent who played forward. No, he doesn't play forward either, really.
Well, Sargent did play center forward in the last game for Norwich. Well, he started out as a second striker, and then once they took Pookie out, they moved him up to the top. So there you go. But he's at least one of the two. He's a second striker, right? He's a striker, right? So he's getting to play more there. But yeah, the thing is with Sargent, you can use him out wide if you want to, because he's good at that too. All right, what else you got?
Clearly can say the same thing way in this sense. You play him out wide. Play him up top. You play all the way across the board up top. We'll put it that way.
Yeah. Izon asks about Balogun. We're going to get to that later in the show.
Yeah.
So
I already sent you this one.
This one is good. In fact, it's so good, we already said it shows ago.
We said this is a very viable option.
We said, I would look for Pepi to move to one of the better teams in Holland, and that's where he's probably going to go.
Now, the big question is, will Augsburg meet PSV in the middle? Probably with where they were hoping to get price range.
I mean, they let him go so easy already.
Well, they've loaned him out. Now, I guess to that point, though, they could probably loan him to PSV. But, I mean, it sounds like PSV is interested in signing him.
I think it's going to be a loan. I think that what Augsburg are going to do is they're going to go ahead and let him be loaned to PSV. And if that turns out really good and some fucking Premier League team wants to drop 30, 20 million on them, then they make some of their money back, right? So they're kind of they're not going to, I mean, if they stay up, they'll probably, I don't know if they're going to stay up or not, but he's not going to go play in 2 Bundesliga. That ain't happening. So, yeah, Augsburg wants to make their money back. Let's be honest.
Yeah, no, 100%. And I think you're right. I think you're right in this sense. Loaning him to PSV would be the best suit because he's going to have Champions League matches. He's going to be obviously playing for the best team and one of the best teams in Holland.
Yeah.
So at that point, you're getting the platform to show what you can do, and maybe somebody will come up, maybe a newly promoted EPL side or mid-table team or somebody else somewhere else, maybe back in Germany. Who knows? But it'll be nice to see what happens in the end.
Larry says he can play winger, but I honestly don't want him to play winger, Larry. I mean, I want him to play center forward because that's what he's good at. I'm sure he'd be just fine out wide. But it's like playing Sargent out wide. What a waste.
Playing him as a center, again, he also brings it because these guys can't play the target man center forward. They can, they can't. I mean, they're definitely players that are way better than them.
Pepi can't play target man? Isn't that what he's doing on the worst team in fucking Holland and scoring goals anyhow?
I think Pepe's best role really is when he has somebody playing beside him, like when he was with FC Dallas, when he had Ferreira, basically playing him the ball in. He's good in the box. I don't know, as far as playing with pressure to his back with the national team and it's hit and miss for the most part.
I thought he's put on some weight. He looks a little bit heftier now than he did even a year ago, Pepi.
I would hope so. Maybe Aronson needs to give him a ring and say, "Hey, what are you doing, buddy?"
I wouldn't count Pepi out as being a target man at all. I just wouldn't. It's too early. He's doing it for the worst team in Holland and yet still scoring a lot of goals with almost barely any service in some games, especially the away games. He might as well just throw up a tent at midfield because, they just never get the ball out of their own zone half the time. So, All right, what else we got? Okay. Daniel Hayes says Sargent is a bum. Why would you say that? God, so not nice, and it's not true. He's not a bum.
Speaking of the bum, Argentina is apparently working on a new formation, and they put it on full display for everybody to see, which I think is silly because I feel like other people can look at it and go like, now we know what they're going to do, okay? But I think they're still trying to work out what to name this formation. So maybe you can help, Derek. Maybe you can help me with this one. What is this called?
It looks like the penis head formation.
I'm kind of sliding with a flying D.
The flying D. Well, it's even got the little sperm coming up through the middle.
Yeah, look at that.
It's ready to go.
It is. And I mean, you got the opening here. I mean, it's just. Did they think this through?
So those two buses above the penis, they count as like sort of the metaphor for labia.
Must be, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, it has no balls though.
I'm partial to the flying D.
That's not bad. I like the flying D. Yeah. No balls though. It needs some balls.
I know. I was thinking about going in here and just drawing some balls.
Yeah.
A side of it, but it is what it is.
Yeah, you could have chopped that up and made some balls happen there.
Well, I mean, they're the ones that did this. I mean, this speaks for itself. How can you look at that picture and not think, well, that looks like a giant penis?
Yeah, I don't know. Listen, man, we're not children. We're just grown men who've learned to embrace our childish sides. That's it. I'd love to be a child again. It'd be awesome, especially if I was allowed to know as much as I know now. Oh, Jesus Christ, it's nothing to do with it. All right, what else we got?
All right, so because Daniel brought... Oh, here we go. This section's going to go back further here.
Wait. Diego says Becky cheated on...
Damn it, Derek! Stop looking at the fucking chat.
All right.
I gotta go back. There you go. Let's start with Joey, okay? Let's talk about Leggett. Leggett, here we go.
Becky cheated on him, huh?
You kind of spoiled it, Derek. Well, no.
Well, sorry, I'm reading.
Technically, Sebastian Leggett has allegedly cheated on Becky. The couple just got engaged recently. Leggett lost his spot, and the U.S. men's national team got bounced around by teams in MLS, and now about to lose Becky G in just over a year. This man is fumbling hard, and there's a whole video here you can watch. I'm not gonna take the time to try to interpret that. There was Jesus Ferreira, there was Leggett there. It's all going on.
So
all this stuff, but I don't know.
Is it true?
And then now Diego's saying that Becky cheated on him, and now I have faith that Diego has the inside track there. Obviously.
So they're cheating on each other. Sounds like a healthy relationship.
Because my thought process before Diego came out and said that Becky cheated on Leggett, my thought process was, man, what is wrong with Leggett and cheating on Becky? That doesn't make any sense. But
yeah, well,
now if Becky cheated on Leggett, maybe that's what caused it. I don't know.
Okay, but the rest of this tweet is like Leggett lost his spot on the U.S. men's national team. Yeah, he knows that. And he's not, listen, he knew that was coming. So that's not a big deal. He got bounced around teams in MLS. Hardly.
This doesn't sound like a healthy relationship then.
He's been playing in LA for a long time, and then he's now at Dallas. He just stopped bouncing all over the place. Where did he stop at the Revs or something along the way? I don't remember.
Becky is allowed to cheat. Leggett isn't. Let's be for real. She's the breadwinner. Man, I hope Leggett didn't sign a prenup on that then.
Well, he can live off what he makes. Come on.
Good.
It's not a big fucking deal. But, I'm sorry to hear they're having issues. But can I be honest here? I could give a rat's fucking testicle about those two. I don't care about them. I don't care about any of that shit. I got this fucking, I don't know if you ever get these notices on your phone. Mine was news, reality star, dead at 44. Okay. So first of all, my phone does not know me at all. I don't give two fucks about reality shows. I never have.
Man, he made it to 44, really? Man.
I never will. And my phone just simply doesn't know me if it's sending me that as the news I would be interested in. That's bullshit. There's no way I'm being interested.
So Derek, in that. It's not that you should care about this, but the community, the fans, the listeners of our show care about this. And that's
I shouldn't care either. They should not care.
I agree.
No, they should not care about any of this. And then John Rex says, I know you care. Boiled eggs. No, I don't care. In fact, I will have a 10-minute conversation about the best way to use boiled eggs before I have a conversation about Becky G and Sebastian Leggett. Don't care. Don't give a shit. I don't like any of that shit. All that, celebrity stuff. I don't like it. Doesn't interest me. Fakey ass people.
Well, maybe this will interest you. Okay. Chris Gary has provided us a screen cap of a potential dumbass post of the week. Now, I've informed people that we haven't done dumbass post of the week for a long time because we'd hate to burn bridges with potential fans. We like to focus primarily on pundits and people like that, and occasionally bring in the rare instance. But then we got called soft. Are we going soft? And let's see if who was it? Oh, it was the right future. He goes, what? Straight red cards going soft?
What? Going soft?
I mentioned how we don't like burning bridges before, potentially making fans, but
we're not going. No. I mean, listen, we might physically be going soft, but up here, no, still sharp as a tack.
All right, well, here we go, Derek. This will be your first introduction to it. I kind of alluded to it in a text because we were talking about the fun stuff that we're going to go over.
Okay. Some of that shit I did not follow. All right, I didn't follow it because I'm not that sharp up here either. All right, let's see. Chris Gary, Berhalter out. Chris still having that up is crazy. Chris, he's out. You need to put it hashtag Berhalter not back in. That's what it needs to be now. All right, just in case the tweet is deleted, here's the tweet of the morning. Do what you love and love what you want, I guess. I don't know. U.S. men's national team Twitter fans are begging for Fleur and Balogun to come just so they can racially abuse him and prop up a skinny white kid who scored 10 goals in the 3rd division of Latvia as being better.
Soto hasn't scored 10 goals. Technically, he's not white.
Yeah, I don't get it. And this is Yogi M. Cloven.
So, no, it's Yogi McLovin.
Yogi McLovin. It's really small on my screen.
Fair enough. So he talks about in a future post, he talks about how like the fans will simply just come onto social media and talk about talk about his power and strength, not necessarily talking about his ability as a player. You know, that whole mantra whenever like pundits will talk about like, oh, Daryl Dike, instead of talking about his ability as a soccer player, they're like, oh, he's very physical and strong in the box.
I don't think that's...
And when you talk about a quote unquote, when we talk about a white player, you're talking about an intelligent player. There's actually I put Chris onto this, but there's actually a Bill Burr skit about this where he talks about like why is it always when it's a white player it's an intelligent play, but when it's a black player it's an athletic play? Well, he's like, that's fair. You know, if you read a defense, white or black, that's an intelligent play. But if you're jumping from the free throw line and you leap over 9 other guys, the other 9 guys aren't going, shit, why didn't we think about that? You know?
This is listen, has it happened in basketball? Yeah, I mean the white guy Larry Bird only succeeded because he was a fucking genius. But then again, you can't say that Magic Johnson didn't have a massive fucking basketball IQ because he had one too. But nobody ever said that Magic didn't have a massive. So this is just, this is ridiculous because when we talk about Balogun, we don't just talk about because he's not that big and physically imposing. That's not what's great about him. What's great about his anticipation. No, his anticipation, his run making, his ability to understand when to make a run and where to make a run. That's soccer IQ.
It sounds like you're talking about intelligence and IQ more so than the actual physical attributes.
But I'm not the only one saying it. Everybody's saying that. So I don't know where he's getting this shit.
Larry's also bringing up other points where pundits did bring this up with DK. They did talk about PFOC like this too, where they talk about his power and ability to hold up the ball, his strength.
I get it, but those things are true about DK and
they are true. Exactly, they're true aspects. Now the problem is maybe they're not necessarily the go-to for the soccer IQ aspect, but that's beside the point.
No, PFOC's soccer IQ is quite high. That is why he's always in the right spot at the right time.
Yep,
or was up until just recently. So yeah, I mean that's a mixture of all kinds of things. But he is
it's hard to be in the right place at the right time when the place and time that you happen to be on is in the bench.
Right now, it's not good. You're right. But physically, hold on. Physically, he is an imposing person. And listen, just by saying that, there are other dimensions you can still talk about, which is PFOC soccer IQ. And
what's the first to
that gets talked about too? It gets talked about.
What's the first go-to when you think of McBride as a striker?
Yeah, exactly.
His ability to leap and get head on the ball in the box.
The only thing McBride had was his physicality, his go-get-itness. Although people did talk about McBride's soccer IQ too, because he was another guy like PFOC was always in the right place at the right time, like PFOC is.
That's the one thing that I could always give Wondolowski is that he was always in the right place at the right time.
That's
when
true.
He scored goals. That was one of his biggest things was that fact. But yeah. McBride was a prime example in this sense where when people talk about him, they talk about his physical attributes. For the most part, they talk about his ability to get up in the air and get a head on the ball.
Well,
he was the most prolific goal scorer for us, but he was always in the right place.
What about the other physical attributes they also talk about? He's slow. He's slow. He can't run. Yeah. So they talk about those things too.
Well, it was funny because we talked about PFOC, and since when I think Davies brought up the skating report on him, he's not a dribbler. He can't do this and that and this. I'm like, well, that's fine. He's got attributes that he's able to do in the game. He's good at doing those attributes. Like McBride was never meant to be I'm going to outpace your ass. He's going to be like, I'm going to hold the ball up, get in the box, and get my head on the ball.
And Davies changed his mind about PFOC, by the way. Yeah. So I have no idea how this turns into a racial discussion, except for it used to be like that. And it seemed that way for basketball, especially.
Sure.
And I agree that was a problem. And I remember growing up with it and thinking, okay, sorry, but yeah, Michael Jordan is a physical specimen, but he is also a fucking genius at basketball. His IQ is through the roof. His basketball IQ is through the fucking roof. So I think, if people are still talking that way, it's because either they're stuck in the past or they haven't really gone on to evaluate players simply by their attributes and their skills. And they do get stuck in some of that, probably somebody does.
This was always also brought up during the Bill Burr skit, is the slow twitch and the fast twitch or quick twitch, that type of thing. But so his initial tweet was US men's national team Twitter fans. That's how he leads off with this.
Which is a massive generalization.
Exactly. Yes, we dug into this. I saw Larry with a $5 super chat, but I remembered that there was somebody else. Sorry, I'm going to pull it back up here in just a second. But he does go into talking about with I think Scuff podcast. He talks about it because Scuff called him out, and he's like, "Oh, there are definitely people in the fan base that would that talk about this, and they say this about the racial players and stuff." And everybody's like, "Dude, that's like the smallest of small populations." There's also a small population that say that if you're not born in the United States, you're not an American player. We've got to deal with those fuckers all the time too.
Yeah, there it is.
So you're talking about the smallest of small populations, but you lead off with saying U.S. men's national team Twitter fans. That's the problem right there.
Yeah, no, that's a huge generalization and it's bad. But then
there's a small population that says this. That's fine. Most people would agree with you.
Here, this dumb fuck says, so they can racially abuse him. All right, can I ask him? Does he live in England? Because this could be an England.
No. He's USL podcaster actually.
Okay, well, this is trash.
Riverhounds? Did he do the Riverhounds?
It's trash.
He's in Philly, or he's in Pennsylvania.
Okay, I've been to Europe. I've lived in Europe. You want to find some people throwing racial abuse at people? That's Europe. Just go to Europe.
As if there's
Italy,
Spain. There's not small factions in every fucking country that's going to be racial.
And they're not even hiding it.
Yeah.
They're not even hiding it. I think the biggest complaint you could have about racism in the United States is people hide it. Okay, but in Europe, they don't even fucking try to hide that shit. They throw fucking bananas. Yeah. They call them the worst things you've ever heard. You got a problem? Try starting in Europe. Because at least here in the United States right now, unfortunately, because I'd rather know who the racists are, most of the racists just keep their fucking mouth shut. Because they know they call somebody a name here at a basketball game, for instance, the whole crowd's going to beat the living fuck out of them if they do something like that, like they get away with in Europe. And that's what happens here. So we don't even know who the real dumb numbnuts are, right? So this is ridiculous. Mm-hmm. Like, you can't even racially abuse somebody on fucking Twitter. You can't do it. You'll be gone. You'll be kicked off of Twitter, as far as I understand it. I have not seen any since I've been on here. And I don't know who this skinny white kid playing in the third division in Latvia is, but that's a joke. We don't have any of those kind of players that are going to get propped up. It's the
same comment that somebody.
I know it's exaggeration, but so what?
One of the MLS pundits made the exact same comments too, though, about how we've got these players in MLS, but we're busting our nuts over some player in third division Latvia scoring goals or whatever.
Name one player in the third division in Europe that anybody gives a fuck about.
Derek, you cover quite a few of them actually in our chat.
That's why I'm asking for numbnuts like these to bring one up. Like, don't hide behind a big generalization like third division of Latvia. Oh, you're so smart. You're so funny. No, give me one player we're obsessed about that plays in some fucking shitty ass league and he's in the third division of it. Tell me one. Give me one example that's legit. Legit. You can't, because you're a fool, and this post is tomfoolery. That's what it is. Anyhow, Ledesma, Uli, dude, we've been busting on those guys for a while, either for injury and not playing because of injury. And when I say busting on, I don't mean like, hey, it's all their fault. The dude's been injured forever and ever and ever.
Yeah, Yuli and Soto are the two big punching bags right now, quite frankly.
I mean, I've been busting Sebastian Soto's balls for so long. People are sick of hearing about it. And him and Klagenfurt.
I keep telling Dick, I'm like, are we still covering these guys, really? Yeah, no.
But maybe it's just us. Maybe nobody else does
Larry,
bust on him.
we'll get to your comment in just a second.
But, maybe Larry's right. Maybe there are other shows that are still talking about Richie Ledesma like he's still going to be great. When I didn't say I said don't write him off quite yet.
Yeah.
Believe me, his injury history is a serious concern, and I don't see him making it. I do not see Richie Ledesma getting out of where he is right
I think if Ledesma can stay healthy, let's take
that's the biggest if in the world.
If he can stay healthy, I think he could be a very, very good player.
Dude, he's healthy right now. He's healthy right now. He ain't making the 18. He didn't make it for the last game.
Well, no, he just got loaned out to New York City. He's on his way to MLS.
Oh, yeah. Okay, we'll see how he does in MLS.
Yeah.
But listen, we've seen players that got massively injured and they just never quite come back.
Is it
my good buddy that was on New York City? Remember, the guy I loved and fell in love with.
Yeah, somebody brought him up too. Chris brought him up on somebody's like, hey, because everybody's like, announce Balogun. I announced Balogun, and he's like, announce Gideon, and I'm like,
yeah,
and I go, Derek did this. I posted a gift that said Derek did this. I'm like, yeah,
it's true.
But
that's me.
But the question here's a serious question: is Ledesma going to be the next Parks? Going to New York City, playing, but then he's no longer the Benfica golden child that we.
I don't even know if he can be Parks at this point. One, because of injury, and two, because Parks gets to play his position in the way he does at New York. NYCFC, because he is a large mammal. He is a force. He is a big boy, and he can do a lot of things. But we'll see. I mean, he fits into what they want to do. Where does Ledesma fit in for NYCFC? I don't know.
It's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough. I mean, they got an entire South American top six.
They do. They have a lot of really good players that play his position there. Yeah. So I don't know, man. I think that. Listen, if there are people out there saying these dumb things, I mean, they're dumb. But I guess I just don't get it because I don't. Okay, it's not totally fair because I have heard, and I'm not saying Pete does this all the time, but I have heard him say nice things about Ledesma. But I think he's doing just what we're doing, which is saying, listen, he's probably would have been a really good player, but he's just fucking
injury after injury. Yes,
it's time to call it off. It's it ain't gonna happen. All right. Any more on this topic?
No, but let's branch our super chats here.
Okay. Oh, Ev Osama, $4.99. Thank you. Or is it Eve? You think?
Evie. That's how I'd say it.
Yeah. Berhalter went to Epstein's Island with Long, Ferreira, Morris, and Areola. Jesus. By the way, that is me quoting what's on the screen. I did not say that.
All right, thanks for the $5 or $4.99 there, Evie.
Hey,
Larry gave us a 5, and let me pull up his chat. Where is it at?
And then he had a question after it, I think, somewhere.
Yeah. Here we go. This is the one. This is the one he wanted us to pull up here.
Guess what year did USA black its first black citizen? What?
Play.
Guess.
Play. Please guess what year did US play its first black citizen? Larry says no cheating, please. What would I Google that? Who was the first black person to play for the national team? I mean, I don't know how that would work out.
Probably going to be in the late 70s or early 80s.
I would guess in the 80s. I would guess in the 80s would be my guess. 86.
I guess it depends because okay, hold on.
1774.
He's saying citizen because Joe Gations was not an American citizen when he played.
Fair play.
He was Haitian. So I guess he's counting him out.
Yeah, some people are already saying that on the chat. Yeah.
Yeah, but he was never an American citizen.
Stick with 86 because I don't have a fucking clue.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of who that would be, and I have pictures of the player in my head, and it's not coming to me the name.
Logan Hill says 84. Ooh, Larry's already mentioned it. Don't look at the chat, Derek. Don't cheat.
I'm not going to be able to remember the dude's name.
All right,
So
say a year. Say a year.
it would have been the 80s.
Yeah, give it a year. Just throw a year out. What year was the best year for you?
Remember seeing
What
this
tickled you most?
player.
What tickled the pickle
I
the most?
remember seeing this player playing in the early 80s, probably 83. That'd be
Looks
my
like
guess.
it's 84, and it's Eddie Hawkins.
Okay. I would not
That's
have
hilarious.
ever.
That's
I would
Larry-
never
Larry-
remembered that. Never.
Larry is our historian. He knows all.
But keep in mind, in 1984, I would have been 12 or 13 years old.
I guess
So,
86. That was pretty fucking close. I mean, I guess we can both guess the 80s, quite frankly.
yeah.
Anybody who is on the bingo card looking for a Leeds fan joining the chat, there's We Are Leeds.
Hey, man, thanks for coming back. It looks like
Some of your boys will play.
Weston's not going to start that first game because we're playing Grenada,
Aronson
and Aronson will probably play, but we're going to rest a bunch of the first team. So, yeah, Aronson might, but I'm trying to think of where. And we're going to go over the starting 11 that we picked. I don't know if he's going to start or not, because if he's going to start, he's going to have to start in midfield, right? Right? Because you're starting Zendejas on the right, you're starting Reyna on the left, and you're starting DK up top, and we don't play a CAM, so he's got to start in the midfield.
Wait, Derek, are you saying that we don't play at 10?
That's
we'll
correct.
We'll get into that. We'll get into that, guys.
Yep.
Anyways, we're gonna move on because we need to make sure that we cover everything here, guys. We have a ton of stuff to cover tonight.
All right, well, moving along then. Let's do it.
Moving along. Derek, you said you have not seen this video clip of Pulisic trying to guess the 2010 World Cup roster or lineup against England in 30 seconds.
That's not going to be easy for me either.
I got most. I missed a couple because who the fuck would remember a couple of these? But I remembered most.
Okay, let's see.
Hold on. Actually, I want to see Derek. You want to try it?
Oh, you want me to try right now?
You want to try?
Start
with goalkeeper, work your way up. Why not?
Well, we know Howard.
Howard. Okay.
Don't
Don't look at the chat, please, because this is gonna be cheating.
Right back would be our coach at LAFC, Dolo. Bocanegra is one of the center backs for sure. What, you maybe left back? Left back then?
Probably starting forward, actually, but I don't want to give you any hints. Okay, you have the first two correct, by the way. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, don't confuse me anymore. I get easily confused
Right,
this
left.
time of night.
Go with yeah. You
The other center back's Gooch.
Gooch and Boca is who you have.
Yep.
Okay.
And the left back would be Bornstein. The midfield would be Dempsey on the left and Donovan on the right. And then Adu in the middle alongside Bradley. And up top would be boy, that's the hardest one, isn't it?
Yep. This is just after Davies car crash.
So Johnson and Hercules Gomez.
Okay, you're not too far off. Not terrible.
Okay.
Do you want me to go over the list before we do this? Because they do go over it. So Howard and Trundolo, yes, you're right.
You're just gonna play it?
I will play it here in a sec, yes. Because his reaction is the best part of it, not actually who's the 2010.
Okay.
Center backs were Gooch and Demerit.
Okay.
This is a Cinderella story. I'm one of the few people that I remember this, apparently.
So Dolo did start.
Dolo started right. Boca left.
Boca left. So you threw me off. I
tried to
guessed
give you a
that
hint
for a
there,
second.
yeah. You said center back. I said, and you said left back. And you go,
After I said left back, you just said ding, ding, ding. And
I don't
then
want to cheat.
would've
I
gone
don't want
on.
to cheat, Derek. So obviously Dempsey and Donovan, you're right with. Bradley, you're right. And I guessed Adu as well because there was a 50-50 chance. It was Adu or Clark.
Yeah.
It was Clark.
Oh.
So I was wrong there.
Okay.
It was Josie up top.
Oh God! How did I get that wrong? It's like I blanked him out of my memory.
Nobody would guess who partnered with Josie. You didn't get it right. The two you got wrong didn't get right. It was Finley.
Oh yeah, we had to replace Davies with Finley.
I
Okay.
thought maybe I would have gone with Buttle before Finley, but whatever. I mean,
Yep.
just thought process alone, you know. But anyways,
Yeah.
let's hear, because you have to one thing you have to remember with Pulisic, he was like 10 or 11 at the World Cup, and I was trying to think back, like when I was 10 or 11. No, I don't remember. I mean,
I was
would
like
never
39.
I was just like, there's no way. When I was 10 or 11, there's no way I would have remembered who was on the. It would have been the '94 World Cup. But I do, as an adult, of course, I know more.
That's not totally true, because when I was like 12, 13, I could name you the whole starting lineup of the New York Yankees easily, no problem.
Okay, well, that's a bit different, because that's a club, and you're having the lineup on a yearly basis, whereas the national team in the World Cup is once every 4 years. Do you remember every World Cup lineup?
Well, I'll tell you this. I know so many Napoleonic generals. I know so much bullshit trivia that I haven't left enough space, apparently, for this game against England.
Anyways, I think Herc was 2014, wasn't he?
Yeah, you're probably right. Yeah.
All right, let's listen to Pulisic and how well he did here.
Okay, Christian, 30 seconds to name the USA side that played England in the 2010 World Cup. 30 seconds. 3, 2, 1, go.
I have 30 seconds? Okay. It's got to be Altidore, Michael Bradley,
obvious one,
Tim Howard,
of course.
I want to say Onyewu,
of course.
Gucci Bocanegra, Clint Dempsey.
He didn't have to put him in the spots, though. That matters.
Man, I'm struggling here. No, DeMarcus Beasley.
Donovan. How can you forget Donovan?
Landon Donovan.
How did I miss Landon?
Steve Cherundolo, Jay Demerit, Ricardo Clark.
Now listen to this part here. Listen to it.
Yeah. Okay, I'm only disappointed that I missed Landon.
Oh, that is harsh. That is harsh.
Well, our show's going to get demonetized for sure.
Now we're talking and coughing during the entire thing.
Okay.
I think we'll be fine.
There we go.
I mean, and I was having a bunch of back and forth. I'm like, man, how could you forget Demerit? I mean, Demerit was the Cinderella. I mean, you forgot Demerit, but he was the Cinderella story of 2010.
Joey says Herc was in Brazil in 2014. So when the fuck was he? 2018?
No, he was 2014, wasn't he?
Herc wasn't in Brazil 2014, says Joey.
Okay. No, Herc was 2010. Okay. BMR says Herc was 2010.
Okay. So it wasn't so far off.
So Pulisic said that he only disappointed that he missed Landon. And, you know, I understand with Finley. I mean, who would have remembered
Finley? Clark.
Really? Yeah. Clark was good in zone right. And again, to my point here, he was a 50-50 as far as being next to Bradley. It was one of those two.
Yeah.
I guess Torres would have been there too, right?
Yeah, I would guess.
So those were in the three center meds. I wouldn't have guessed Torres by any means. I guessed Adu as well. But I mean, when Demerit, do you remember? Did you go to the theaters with us for the when the Jay Demerit story came out?
Nope.
We did a thing with BYB back in the day. The initial, this is what original, because I mean this was 2011. I mean this was it wasn't 2011. It was 2011 when it came out, I think, actually.
Somewhere around there, yeah.
But it was it came out, and we scheduled. We reached out to AMC and said, "Hey, you guys are having this. We're going to have X amount of people in." And we went to go see it. It was such a great fucking story, because you saw an 18-year-old kid from Green Bay skip college and went and signed with like a 9th division English side.
Yeah.
In what world? In what world does that happen? Yeah. I'm going to bypass college and go sign for the semi-pro team that plays on Sundays with a bunch of pub kids. You know,
awesome story.
All of a sudden, in the span of his lifetime, he went from 9th division England all the way up to the EPL and started in a World Cup. What a great story.
Yeah. You know, I should have remembered this game better, because I did write that song about Robert Greene. Remember? I had the whole tune. Thank you, Robert Greene. That D-Rex sang.
So I made a comment because people are like, these kids would never remember, Jay Demerit, because that's the thing. I made the big stink about Jay Demerit. Like, these kids wouldn't remember that. they're like in their teens, early teens. And I'm like, yeah, maybe, perhaps, just perhaps, Greg or USSF should have taken the time to make one of their PowerPoints about the history of the United States men's national team.
Perhaps.
And Eric Ronaldo said, starting when? 2002?
Hmm.
And my response was, well, everything before would be BG, before Greg. At which would probably fall under the ether like the supposed 2006 World Cup that clearly never happened, because Berhalter only talks about one World Cup.
That's right. He said it. Only talk about one. And Eric liked this?
No, somebody else liked it.
Okay.
So Ben Sixers. Yeah, there we go.
Okay, so yeah, I thought you said that we were getting cozy with Ronaldo.
Yeah, we had a nice little back and forth. We've had some, some responses. We're talking. He quote tweeted me twice. I feel like bridges are mending.
Okay.
Maybe.
Well,
he's been following us for a while, so you never know.
I mean, he doesn't know that. No, he's not going to remember. Anyhow, that's good.
I don't think so. Like, so many slights ago that he probably doesn't remember this one.
Except for the ones I did the last 2 years. But I was just busting his balls. That was all. All right.
Joshua Nolan said, old man yells at cloud. It's always a great meme. Always a great meme.
If I said the 94 team would beat the 2022 team, then you could say that and also be wrong. If I said the 94 team would beat the 2022 team, then you could say that and also be wrong.
He's basically saying that if I'm saying that 94 would beat the 2002, it'd be an old man yelling at the cloud. But you'd also be wrong because the 94 team would beat the 2022 team.
I don't think so.
There's
no way.
It'd be interesting. The heart and drive in the 94 team might overpower. Could overpower. It's suspect.
They don't have. I mean, listen, there are great players on that team, but none of them are reached the plethora of great players. Or, I mean, none of those guys would have ever played in a good team in the EPL. Which didn't exist back then anyhow. It was just the old English First Division. I mean, you're talking about John Harkes, who couldn't even play really above the second division or the, higher than the second division as high as he ever got in England. Who do we have? We had a bunch of guys that tried it out. We had, what's his face at Everton, Joe Max Moore. That he barely got to play. He played some, but not a lot. Preki even try to run over there with Everton too. Anyhow, I'm not saying they weren't good players. In fact, in some positions, specific positions, they might have been better, but I don't know. I don't think they would have. I don't think you.
It's not from lack of knowledge as far as how to shoot a ball, how to pass a ball, and stuff like that. They're clearly capable and quality enough to do that. But it's just
they would have fought like hell.
It would have been, that's the thing. It would have been the question of whether or not their heart and determination could overpower just the sheer quality difference. And I'm not saying that.
Who's the coach? Who's the coach?
Same.
That might make a big difference too. If it's Greg coaching, I give the 94 team a good shot.
We'll see what happens with Hudson though, man. I mean, Hudson's making some deals going.
Okay,
but Larry
all of a sudden now he's like the master. Guy working.
There were definitely some people who are pro Berhalter, at least not necessarily pro Berhalter, but like people who like weren't necessarily against Berhalter, like would call him out, but then also say like, well, he's doing good, that type of thing. That joked around about saying like, well, if Hudson comes out and beats Grenada and El Salvador handedly, then there's all of a sudden going to be a bunch of people like, we need to bring up Hudson and leave Berhalter out type of thing. And like, nah, it's against Grenada. Nobody's going to care.
I don't think that's going to happen at all.
Nobody's going to care. Larry does say Zimmerman would make the 94 World Cup.
As a bench player, maybe, but not as a starter. Not as a starter. Kobe Jones was a thug. Kobe Jones had one of the worst English soccer experiences ever. I mean, he was bad. B-A-D, bad, when he went to England.
Worse than Josie?
Yeah, except for I can blame a little bit of Josie's fortunes on him a lot. I can also blame it on his teammates who did not want to ever pass him the ball.
Well, and I made the argument for Josie back in the day, back in the big soccer day, because this is when it was. And I talked about that today, actually, bringing up the toxicity talk that's coming out nowadays, and saying, well, clearly those people never frequent the big soccer boards, or during the Bob Bradley era, during the whole nepotism, Michael Bradley, he's only there because of that. That was bad. But that was also a lot of fun. That was back in the day when the internet was fun.
Jesus wouldn't make it. No, he shouldn't have made this team, Chris. He should never have made this team.
Yeah.
Pepi should have been there, period.
Yeah, 100%.
Yep. Okay, moving on. We got a lot to cover, guys.
We're actually moving on to one of the actual topics right now.
Are we? Good, because it's already an hour in.
To some Balogun talk here.
Hopefully, this isn't that same bald moron from the Pulisic interview. No,
this is different. Yeah, totally
he looks different. Okay, good.
No, this is I believe the England U21.
Oh, it's Lee Carsley. Yeah. Okay.
Let's listen to what he has to say. See if
why is everything so small today? I don't know why, but
let's see if we've heard this one.
Okay. Uh-oh, no sound.
No sound?
No sound.
Okay. I thought I was still sharing the sound. But my bad, guys. My bad. Let's try this again.
I think it's every time or any contact we have with Flo, he's very connected to what we're doing. He's been an integral part of our campaign. He's our leading goal scorer.
So Flo is an integral part to their campaign. I'm guessing again. I'm pretty 99% positive he's a U21 coach, correct?
Yes, he is the U21 coach.
And he's important to the U21s.
Fuck that.
The leading goal scorer.
This
is sounding familiar. Hold on, let's hear more. Let's listen to
Really
more.
looking forward to having him back with us in the summer. And like I say, he's never given us any we've never had any opportunity to question why he wouldn't want to continue that. But I think it's something that we need to we're aware of and we need to keep an eye on.
No indication that he would actually leave the U21s. But it's a situation they want to keep an eye on.
Well, then there was that fucking cocksucker on goal.com who wrote that article that I sent you the quote from.
Yeah.
Where he said, this Balogun character hasn't even played one game in the Premier League. You think he's just going to get called up because he's scoring goals in France? Damn! That's a shit on France, man. You think the
really
French league is that bad that the guy who's in the top 3 scoring goals in fucking France doesn't deserve anything but a call up to your shrinky dink limp dick U21s? I would have done the same thing if I were Balogun. I would have said, suck my Balogun. I'm out of here. I'm going to go fucking Orlando.
I've got an injury. Okay, 24 hours later, I'm practicing with the US men's national team. Come on.
It's like my tweet, man. Hey, why am I hurt? Because my feet hurt from scoring all these
too many
goals.
Yeah.
I would have done the same
We Are
thing.
Lead says, unfortunately, you are getting him.
You are not getting him.
No,
I don't know if we're
getting him.
Unfortunately,
basically, he's saying you guys are getting Balogun.
Is that what he's saying?
Yeah.
You sure that's not meant to be an N instead of an L? Unfortunately.
No, I think it's you lot. He's English.
No, I know that English people say you lot.
Yeah, no, 100%. 100% he's saying you guys are getting him.
Okay. I agree. I think we are probably getting him at this point. So
but Derek, have you heard anything like this before? I think we have.
What Lee Carsley just said?
Yes.
Yeah, kind of. But what tree are you barking up? Germany's U21 manager Antonio De Salvio is also confident that the youngster will stick with the nation of his birth. Asked about Tillman's future last week, De Salvo said, I've had a few conversations with him. What he said to me is he wants to play for Germany and identifies with us. He wants to gain a foothold at the club and U21s, and that's what counts. Well, so again, we're talking about an English team that's probably first you got Kane, and then you got other people behind Tony. I still would have called up Balogun, even if he didn't deserve, even if you thought he didn't deserve to be called up. I would have called his ass up if I was England.
And you lose out on Rashford and Mount doesn't make a difference, but Rashford's a big one to have lost and not called anybody else up.
Yeah, you immediately
might as well at that
now.
point say, "Hey, Balogun, you're leading scorer in U21s. Get the fuck up here!"
Leading scorer of the U21s. He's a fucking leading scorer in France.
I know. And now
fuck the U21s.
There's even the inkling, the smallest of inklings that he might represent the United States. At that point, you're just like, "Hey, why don't you come up here? You probably won't get any playing time, but you can at least practice with our senior squad. We're showing you that we are interested in you. We want to see what you can do."
I would have told that goofy-looking motherfucker Southgate to shove his U21s up his arse, his asshole. Fuck that. I ain't playing for your U21s anymore. Look at me, dude. Who's scoring more goals in the fucking French league than me? Mbappe and one other dude from Canada. All right? So fuck off. Suck my dick. I'm going to go hang out in Orlando. I'm going to go hang out with my guys that I used to play with, like Booth on the U18 team.
Booth and Reynolds.
Yes.
Both, yeah.
I'm going to go hang out with people who want me.
Both those players at this camp, too. That's nice.
I'm going to hang out where people appreciate me.
Mm-hmm.
And, there's no secret to the fact
I'm going to post a shit about it on Instagram. Look at me.
U.S. tweets have been all over Balogun's Twitter telling him how wonderful he is and how much we want him.
So it's funny because even you made the joke as far as like when it came to his Instagram and like people like broke it down, like to figure out exactly where he was that night type of thing. You're like, well, that was classy, But there's the thing about this though is that Musa, before even stepping on the field for the United States national team, had received a bunch of this type of interest.
We're replicating it. We're replicating it. Yes.
And he talked about it. He's like, I absolutely love the fact that before I even stepped foot on the field, that I knew I was getting love. And now, paraphrasing, of course, and he's friends with Balogun, like good friends.
Yes, and now we've got all these English announcers for these games saying, "Oh yeah, that Musa kid, he was really good at the World Cup." Well, no shit, he could have been on your team.
Yeah.
But, you don't know apparently how to, what we call that, when you cap somebody, when you're just capping them to keep them. That's a predatory cap. Predatory cap.
Jonathan Gonzalezing him, huh?
Yeah, predatory cap. Sometimes you got to use a predatory cap on occasion. And if I were of England, I would have predatory cap.
Occasionally just show interest. It doesn't have to be a call up for every window, but you say, "Hey, come here to the window," and you're constantly adding a trail of breadcrumbs, saying, "Come play, come stay with us, come over here."
And the reason I called that photo in Orlando with Balogun and my comment was classy is it looked like a strip bar to me.
Oh, I thought you were saying it was classy that people actually detect. I really think there's some feds in our fan base that like, "Oh, look, here's a stain on a wall. I know that stain on the wall. That's here at this place."
What was the name of the bar?
It was
something about catching tail.
Catching tail, but that's the joke about it. Catching.
But I come to find out later.
Post on the cap here.
I came to find out later that it's actually a bar where you bring your dog with you to drink or something. So I thought it was a strip bar because it was all about catching tail.
I assumed it was a name for a bar that you go there. That's that phrase. You ain't catching tail. You're gonna go get some chicks.
Yeah. Jesse Negron, thank you for the $1.99, brother. Do you guys think Flo will be announced soon? I don't think it's going to be soon, as in it ain't going to come this round.
Quite frankly, he's in no immediate rush.
There's no rush.
There's no rush. And I say the same thing about all of the other dual nats. It's immediately the Jonathan Gonzalez situation is the primary one here. There's no need for him. There was no need for him to make the immediate switch. He wasn't going to go in the World Cup. There's no need for it. But he made the switch, and now that's the bet he made.
Yeah, there's no need. This is just for him, for Balogun. This is a shot across the bow. Yeah. This is basically a wake-up shot across the bow to 100%. Southgate. And who fucking cares about Carsley? Carsley shouldn't be even in this discussion. The only thing that should be discussed right now, as far as Balogun's concerned, is whether or not he makes the big boy team. Fuck your U22s and U21s. Fuck your U23s for all he cares. Hey, show me that you really want me on this team. It's not like I'm a
Come on.
player that plays 30 minutes a game in France and I get an occasional goal and an occasional assist. I start every fucking game. My team is near, it's not bad. We're like
third in the league for scoring goals right now.
And yeah, it's not like there aren't a shitload of guys behind me who haven't scored more goals than me that play center forward or play forward in this league that you apparently, this guy at goal.com wrote, he apparently thinks that, the French league's just shit, which I'm sorry, it's a top 5 league, which means it's not shit. Now, some of the teams at the bottom of the table are shit, but that could be said for fucking Norwich last season. They were complete fucking garbage. So I don't know. It's just arrogance, and I think you got to suck that up sometimes. And no, we are Leeds Bamford ain't making any team anytime soon.
Well, you're a little up the chat, aren't you?
I know. I just remember him saying that, and I thought that was funny at the time. I'm like, yeah, there's no way. Maximilio.
Here's a picture of Balogun after his training. He goes, "Oh man, this heat." And of course, a couple of people like I know Grant Tuberville posted this. He goes, "It's not the heat that's killing you; it's the humidity here in Florida." And I go, "Hey, you know what? You can have the best of both worlds. Come up to Indy during the summer. You could have heat, humidity, and zero wind."
Yeah. It's nasty.
But yeah,
It's
Max
nasty.
says, "Yeah, it'll get you. I'm gonna go ahead and grab a pen. Can you sign here?" So then I responded to this, and I said, are we trying to Zendaya him? And of course, Fandom goes, shh, don't tell anyone. Tell them it's a registration to vote.
Or whatever that wacky shit they handed Zendaya.
Seriously, that was great. I love the lore that's developing within U.S. soccer these days.
Oh, I just love the way Zendaya tells the story. He's like, yeah, they just handed me a bunch of fucking paper and told me to sign it. I'm like, I ain't signing shit.
I ain't signing shit. I'll give the paperwork to my manager, and I'm going to sign it when I come back. We'll deal with that.
Yeah, exactly. How ridiculous. And the way he explained looking at them when they were trying to jam this document right in his face.
Yeah.
Like looking at him like, what? Fuck off. What the fuck are you doing? What do you think? I'm a fucking dumbass? A complete nitwit? I mean, how dumb do you think I am, actually? You're going to make me sign this before getting on the bus. US men's team versus haters. Hudson on Balogun via Meg Swanick. Oh, that's right. I love me some Meg Swanick. Every day of the week if I could. And hey, don't take that the wrong way. I mean, her writing.
Yes.
We've spoken. He's out here, having a bit of a break and some training, and we've had some discussions. So yeah, now it's about him just enjoying the rest of his trip. A few of the guys have spoken to him as well. All right, that's not a really good. I did a very bad version of Hudson.
It's funny how you kind of worked your way into a very bad
I did. I wasn't going to do it, and then I was like, I'm just going to start. Because he's so laid back. He's so fucking laid back, A few of the guys have spoken to him as well. He's such a laid back dude. That's good. I'm glad he's there. I'm sure he's kicked a few balls too. Because, he looked like...
he partook in the training before U.S. took off to Grenada, which they're currently at, and they taken some photos about...
Do you have photos of him playing with the team?
No. But he was out there doing a training with them. That's what everybody talked about.
Absolutely confirmed. There are photos of him training.
No photos. People talked about it. Well, at least I don't know if there are photos. There might be photos. I didn't see any, though.
I talked about being in early porn movies in the 80s. Doesn't mean it's true.
Doesn't make it not true, though, Derek. That's possible.
It was just waist down.
you were a butt stand-in for somebody.
Yes, I was.
Turned out to be a gay porno, though. That sucks for you, though.
No, it didn't. Hey, whatever they paid me for, buddy. Hey, Derek, I have a few questions. See any good shark or porn videos lately? And what are you drinking tonight? Tonight, believe it or not, they were out of my favorite Canada Dry. And I'm drinking this fucking Sunkist with this fucking vodka.
Chris, that was cheap. And you're better than that. You're better than that, Chris.
Why are you calling him cheap?
He wants you to do that for bingo.
Oh, I forgot about bingo. That was not cool, Chris. Not cool at all. The agent would never allow pics of training. I don't know. I've seen a lot of pics of training. I really have.
That's what Berlin was saying.
From a distance.
From a distance.
Because even with some of these cameras now, dude, you can be like 2 miles off on top of a building and get close-up shots.
Berlin, did you actually achieve bingo, or are you just saying bingo because we're saying bingo?
Oh, by the way, somebody said, is that a fucking plastic bottle? Yes, this is the cheap shit. This is cheap shit. Taka, whatever that is. I don't usually buy it, honestly. But yeah, tonight.
What type of liquor is that then? Is it vodka or tequila?
No, it's vodka. It's called Taka. I've never had it before.
Sounds like it'd be a tequila.
No, they're trying to fake like they're Russian or something on this.
Dual A's. I didn't see the 2 A's there.
I'll be honest with you. I ran in there because I was in a rush to get to that meeting and grabbed the first fucking bottle of vodka I saw.
Speaking of which, today I bought, because we always do we've talked about
you do the cheap shit all the time.
We do the cheap shit, and you even talked about how, like, even with your vodka connoisseurs, that you would put like Skull or whatever into whatever.
And they didn't know a damn difference.
They couldn't tell the difference. So we buy cheap shit because we always mix it. So like I bought Dark Eyes today.
Well, I'll tell you what.
That's some classy shit.
I believed all my horse shit until I had Cardinal Spirits vodka. And then I'm like, I can drink this shit straight.
Dude,
that's how good this shit is.
There's a vodka called Balogun vodka. That shit is fucking smooth as hell. That is something you're drinking. You're like, am I drinking water here? Is there alcohol content here? Fuck, you know.
Cardinal Spirits. If you've never had it, they're online. You can buy it online. But the best vodka I fucking ever had. I've never had anything with it. I could just drink straight. A vodka that I could drink straight.
Yeah,
and like, this tastes good. This is creepy.
I've never purchased any form of good vodka that I could drink. Well, I take that back. When I first started drinking hard liquor, I would take 4 shots of Smirnoff, and I would down them like Super Troopers. So it's like one after the other, and then you do a high kick, and then you're good for like a handful of hours. You just took 4 shots of vodka. Not that because it was smooth by any means, but that Beluga vodka was the first vodka that I've ever had that was so smooth that I was questioning whether or not I was actually drinking liquor.
Yeah.
That was
usually I've been drinking the nice beers here on the show, but I don't have any right now. So I'm down to like cheap vodka. And that's unfortunate, but it is what it is.
Benjamin says, Taka is how I know you really lived in Bloomington.
Is that a Bloomington thing? It's a big red thing, and I got this at Big Red.
That's the thing too, because I mean, when you talk about cheap beers, like especially when you're in college, you talk about cheap beers. It's always regional. So like in Bloomington, it was always Keystone Ice. That was the big cheap beer.
Is that Big Red?
It just had high alcohol content, but cheap price. You'd still get a 30-pack for dirt cheap.
I don't remember the alcohol content being that high.
Keystone fucking sucks donkey balls, but
yeah. All right, what do we got next?
Hold on.
We still talking about Balogun?
Berlin. We are going to get to a comment of yours here in just a second. Don't worry. He's for the record, he's the only guy calling bullshit on Balogun committing to the national team. Basically, Berlin is saying that we're getting bamboozled, and he's just using us to get an England call-up.
Wait a minute. Did I just not say that Balogun is shooting across the bow? He's sending a message to England. Hey, you think I'm fucking around? Here, I'm going to go hang out with the U.S. team. You think I'm fucking around? Just watch me go fuck around with the U.S. team. Does that make you nervous? It should make you nervous. Yeah, he is. I'm not saying anything yet.
Berlin is saying that we're getting gaslit.
I'm not getting gaslit.
This is simply They do this in other fields as well.
Okay, well, that's just
I'm gonna do my own independent shit, and all of a sudden the big boys come back and they pay you more money. I just said that though. I just said this is a maneuver by Balogun to get the attention of England. So we shouldn't really be celebrating yet. I'm just saying. No, but don't take our fun away, Derek. That's what everybody's gonna say on Twitter. This is our fun. We're having a good time with this. We're rolling with it. Everybody has to understand. I'm sure everybody knows whether it's deep down in their hearts, then they don't want to believe, and they push it further and further away, that it's very possible that England comes back and says, hey, next window you're in, Balogun. And Balogun's like, peace out. It's
basically what Balogun is saying is, if I'm not in soon, next time, this is going to be the real thing, USA, for me. This is just me. So,
Bryan, don't worry. I am going to go back to your super chat, but this popped up and we're still talking about Balogun. But yeah, absolutely going to talk about it. Don't worry. Okay.
Yeah. So no, right now it's too early. If we really want to be honest with people, to say that this is Balogun's like a 100% in with us. I think this is him firing a warning shot at England, and then not only firing the warning shot, then he's actually not only joining the team, but apparently training and doing some training with them with an injury.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. That's him saying, yeah, middle finger, bitches. That's what he's saying there.
At this point, the only thing that's going to convince, that's going to take this out of the equation is if he comes out and flat out states, I'm repping the U.S. from now on. You know?
Yeah. Brian DeMarco says for $5, thank you. With those $5, I will buy better boots. It's not a matter of I can't afford it, Brian. It's just that I was in a rush. And this was on one of those displays as you head to I ran in the door, saw the display, grabbed a bottle, went to the register, put it in there, and barely made the meeting on time. Because
and we have to remember though that Derek is single and all of his kids are grown. He can afford the better liquor at this point without concern.
Yes, I can.
I have kids under the age of 8. And I cannot. I mean, I can't afford better liquor, but the amount of liquor that I drink on a weekly basis doesn't make sense for that. So I'll absolutely buy the cheapest of cheap shit, mix it, and just enjoy my time with it.
Yeah, I mean, you guys have seen me here drinking the good stuff.
I don't cheap out on the bourbon that I bought. I mean, I do, but I don't.
Your bourbon's okay.
I do Evan Williams. It's mid tier, I guess you can consider that. It's like $20 some odd for a handle. It's not the best, but it's definitely not the cheapest. I can get cheaper, but I'm definitely not gonna drink that shit straight.
Where I overspend, and I have to because it's what I love, is on Belgian beer.
Mm-hmm.
I love Belgian doubles. I love triples. I love the Belgian. I love all that shit, and it's expensive as fuck. So at some point,
but it's so good though.
It's so good.
So good.
It's worth it. But vodka sometimes I really don't care.
All the way for all of it.
I really don't care that much about the vodka thing. I'm not really gagging up.
Yeah, you mix with Diet Big K soda. So it doesn't really matter what you're getting.
I switched to a Canada Dry.
Okay.
Before I had Sunkist.
There you go. I was gonna say there still seems to be a little orange there.
Yeah. All right. What else we got here?
Berlin, we agree with you on the sense that we're at this point. I think most of Twitter is just sort of riding the hype train. You're like, oh my god, look at this, we're gonna do it, we're gonna do it. And anybody who instills some form of like reality, they're like, don't kill our buzz, man.
Yeah, I think that's what's going on there, Berlin. Is that people they want to see, the light at the end of the tunnel. And what you're saying is, no, dude, we even turned the corner on this tunnel yet. So just shut up. And everybody's like, man, come on. I saw some light. I saw some fucking light at the end of that tunnel. And 100%. You're just spoiling their party, man. But sometimes that's what you got to do. So now he's at an Orlando Magic game.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Got himself a jersey, a nice already named jersey and everything.
Isn't 29 there yet? He's there now.
29's currently in Miami, and
he's in Miami.
I'm not sure if he's still out about. Yeah. I mean, there's 29 Diego Mendoza. I'm not sure if Diego changed his name from Diego Mendoza to 29 Diego Mendoza.
Looks like it.
But he's currently in Miami. I'm not sure if he attended the game with Flo or not.
Doesn't he intend to head up to Orlando for the game though? Is it the second game in Orlando? So. Yeah. Okay. All right. What else we got here?
Actually, that was legit it for Flo.
You want to cover Ream?
Oh no, yeah, we have a whole other window here of tabs to cover.
Oh my god!
Don't you worry.
We're an hour and 20 in, and you're talking like we got another hour and 20.
We got tons of time here. Yeah, don't worry about
that. Oh, shut up!
All right.
Can't be serious.
So
you can't be serious.
Can't be. What are we doing here? And Derek, don't forget we have to make sure we cover our Twitter comments today.
Okay, yeah, I'm okay. Just as long as this doesn't go on forever.
So I wanted to bring up, we're going to talk about the upcoming Grenada game. We have a couple of interviews with some players. We're going to recap our predictions from a Monday show as far as who we think are going to or who's going to play.
All right, let's get on with it.
A couple things here. So, so the Philadelphia Inquirer has a new Zach Steffen article out. And there's some interesting things about this, and I've got the snippets here. So we're not going to go through the actual article itself.
Just snippets.
By all means, go to the website and read the article. It's free, and you can just click and read, and it's a good read.
All right, get to the good part.
So
here we go. I was inconsistent with the camps and games and had some injuries, Steffen told the Inquirer in an interview this week. COVID didn't allow me to travel to some countries and qualifiers. I had some injuries that kept me out of camp, or injuries that kept me out of games. And then when I got pulled out of camp in June last year, that was a shock to Greg, I think.
So this is basically leading up to the World Cup and how he suffered a good number of injuries and just outages for various reasons, like family reasons, especially during the summertime. But it's just painting a picture leading into it here.
Mm-hmm. The keepers, Matt and Sean and Ethan, I mean, they were consistent and they were with the team throughout the whole cycle. And Greg just decided to go with them. Berhalter's decision left Steffen struggling. It was tough. God tested me. It definitely wasn't easy, as you can imagine. Just surprising. And just not what I expected. And it wasn't part of my plan. But I know that God ultimately has a greater plan and path for me. Okay.
So I wanted to bring this part up because we've talked about this a number of times about the alluded phone call with Berhalter.
Yeah.
And he kind of talks about two different things here in this one quote. He talks about how he went with Turner, Johnson, and Horvath.
Yep.
And then he talks about how the decision was tough. It was surprising that it happened.
Well, it sounds like he's reflected on this since, because the way he reacted originally was simply just being surprised and angry. And I get why he was surprised, sort of, and angry, but it sounds like he's taken some time to think about it and gone, okay, I get it. Matt was Sean and Ethan, they were all consistent.
Yeah.
So it sounds like he's reflected and he's decided, I'm just going to let it go. I'm going to let it go and move forward.
Maybe the anger around the World Cup phone call stemmed that he was going through a string of games where he was actually playing and he was healthy. They may not have been the world's best games, but he was healthy at that point. Maybe he assumed that he would get a starting spot back.
Yeah.
And then you had talked about how, like, once he is that, hey, you know, Turner's my number one right now going into the World Cup. When we were talking with Diego, and you guys both confirmed the fact that he hung up. Yes. And then he called back, and then he said, well, now you're just not going to go at all.
Right. As soon as he was told if you're going, you're not going to play because Turner's going to start all the games. Steffen was angry, hung up. They called back, got back together, and Greg said, listen, it sounds like you're going to have a really hard time with this. It's just better off, I think, for us as a team to move on and, go with somebody who's going to accept being the number two. In fact, Steffen said he's in such a good place right now that he doesn't intend to return to Manchester City when his loan expires. The club already knows, so it won't be news to the staff there, but it's likely will be to many U.S. fans. Why would he stay there when Middlesbrough probably want, if they do indeed go up, which it looks very likely that they could, they're going to want to keep Steffen when they go up.
And it's clear from this quote, at least, is that Steffen wants to play. At this point in his career, he's 26, 27, 28 range. He wants to start playing. He doesn't want to riding Pine as a second option, getting a couple of tournament games here and there. And
this is just, even with the Howlers and the whole big-time errors that he's made, Middlesbrough's just stuck by him. So...
yeah,
I don't think I'll go back, he said. No, I want to be playing. Although I had a great time at City. I love those guys, and obviously it's an amazing club. I don't really have any plans to go back because there's got no chance at playing.
Yeah.
He's got no
100%.
chance of ever
This is
being
the
the
point of his career.
dude.
Yeah.
I think being a coach, you need to know your players, Steffen said, and you need to be able to relate to them and be able to humanize with them and be able to listen to them and know how to push them and how they work and vice versa. I think Hudson is definitely that type of guy. I wouldn't waste my time talking about Hudson if I was Steffen, because it just simply doesn't matter. He is not going to be the coach of this team.
Agreed. And the only reason I kept this quote was I kind of felt like, to an extent, this might have been throwing shade. You know?
Oh, you
have
Greg,
to humanize with them. You have to relate with them. You know, and Greg didn't do that. That's the way I interpreted this. Now, I might be jaded in this sense, and he may not have been saying this at all. Maybe he's just saying something super nice about an interim coach that's possibly going to play him at least one of the matches. Very possible.
Yeah, I don't know. It could be a shot at Berhalter, but at this point, I'm not sure what to fucking believe. I got some jolly huckster telling me he's awful. I got Pulisic telling me he's this wonderful dude. I don't know what to fucking believe anymore as far as his ability to connect with the players. I don't get it. I don't know. It sounds like there's this whole contingent of Wasserman guys that are like, yeah, no Greg, please. Thank you. Just leave him where he's at. And then we got Pulisic, pulling his dick out and, stroking it in front of the bald dude saying, hey, Reina's parents are clowns. And then we've got the MLS guys that just love them some Greg. So it's just hard to say what the fuck's going on right now.
Yeah.
All right, what do we got?
So Diego wanted us to know, hey, who was on the channel last week and Monday telling y'all that Gio was playing 10 in this camp? Because according to State of Football, Gio Reyna was playing a central role in the open media portion of Tuesday's practice, according to the Athletic Paul Tenorio.
Who was on the channel last week and Monday telling y'all Gio was playing 10 in this camp? I think that's what Diego's saying to us, like he's going to play a 10. So, okay, listen, Diego, it could happen. Like pigs could fly.
Yeah, he goes,
right?
It was me. It was sarcasm. Yes. unlike most of Twitter, Diego, I'm capable of reading sarcasm on Twitter.
Right. So, no, I get what you're saying, but I got to see it first to believe it. I really do.
Did I post that? I think here we go. In the almighty words of Boomer Ritchie, we don't play a 10. I'll believe it when we see it.
Thank you. Yes. I don't care what they put up on the board at this point. I want to see that shit. Then I'll believe it. Because I just don't. See it.
Now the question would be will people consider that Reyna played a 10 if he plays in the 4-3-3 as one of the 8/10s?
No, it would have to be really obvious. We know what a 10's job is. And then Jesse Negron's confused. He's saying Pulisic stroking it to Greg. No, that's that stupid Irish guy that was doing the interview with Pulisic. That guy is just, he was a bloviating fuckface.
So obviously with all the talk of Balogun and all this, there are a lot of people that have up and forgotten about GeoGate. But there are still people out there that dislike Gio and will not forgive him for anything.
All right.
And unfortunately for all you folks on the bingo game tonight, we are not going to have a Lawless says something stupid comment, but instead a Lawless says something smart comment.
Stop in the name of love. All right. Stop. Gio Reyna's behavior during World Cup was dealt with at the time by the team. He shouldn't be punished for the actions of his parents. He's still a talented young player and with great U.S. men's national team potential. I hope he can put this behind him, play well, and we can all move forward. That's my
wise words.
Alexi Lawless mock. That's the best I can do.
Saying wise things.
Yeah, that's unusual for him to be so crystal clear and correct.
Mm-hmm.
Usually he fumbles around a little bit. More live than he does on his tweets.
But this stemmed from, this is those things. He's like, Anil said, also, how can Gio Reyna show his face with the national team after his debacle with Berhalter? Trash!
More of that, huh?
It's going to continue. And there's a bunch of conversations all throughout Twitter basically saying that Gio's going to have to understand that this is going to happen. There's going to be some light ribbing in the locker room. You know,
I doubt
something
that.
happens.
I doubt that. Listen, there might have been some light ribbing until fucking Pulisic came out and said, your parents are fucking bitch-ass clowns. That's what he said. Not word for word, but that's what he said.
So are you saying that's not going to be lighthearted? It's going to be more poignant? Or are you going to say that nobody's going to say shit at this point?
No one's going to say dick now because Pulisic ruined all the jokes by calling his parents childish.
The line in the sand. You're either on my side.
How are you going to joke about something when the fucking leader of the team just went on with some fucking numbnut Irish guy and told him that the Reynolds are childish?
Well, I mean,
he's basically saying, hey, Pulisic, hey, Gio, your parents are fucking clowns, dude. Your parents are clowns.
Maybe
they're
childish
clowns.
Maybe whenever Pulisic goes to bed like at 8 o'clock at night and everybody's hanging out, make the jokes then when he's not around.
Well, that'd be behind his back. That's even worse.
Around Pulisic's back?
Behind Reyna's back.
Oh, no, Reyna's going to be out there. Don't get me wrong.
Well, what jokes are they going to tell behind Pulisic's back? I'm sure they do. Like he's a hairy motherfucker, virgin ass bitch.
No. I think. So you're saying that the jokes will not be made because Pulisic
made this. Yeah, he rubbed it so rawly.
So basically, you can't make a joke and have fun at this point. Is what you're saying?
You cannot make a joke about the Reyna's parents at this point because number one, it's so bad. What they did was so bad, it's not even funny. But then two, Pulisic said, "Yeah, those Reynas." He crumbled them up and just tossed them in the fucking trash like garbage, basically, in front of the whole team on a national interview with ESPN. So then the jokes are gone. It's over. So I think we'll get to Ream's response to this.
Maybe that was Pulisic's point. Maybe he wanted nobody to be joking about this, and he just wants it to be hush hush in the end.
No,
like, I'm gonna make it as awkward as possible, and nobody can talk about this type of stuff.
Pulisic should not have used the word childish. She just should have said, "Yeah, that was a real shit show. I'm glad it's over. I'm ready to move on." That's it. Why take a fucking shot at the Reynas? Because you don't like them, apparently. I mean, why else would you do that? Because the normal fucking response to the media in a very in a political sense would have been, I'm glad it's over. It was a shit show. I just want to move on. That's all he had to say. And then we could have had some chuckles and gags in the background. But now he's come out and called Reyna's parents a bunch of fucking clowns.
Basically, you're saying Pulisic is the Debbie Downer. Wah, wah.
Well, he's saying the obvious, and he's correct. That is true. If I were a teammate, listen, if I were on a team, which I was on the team, and let's say Chad McGowan's dad
really
and dad and mom did something absolutely fucking wretched. I wouldn't blame that on Chad, number one, and I certainly wouldn't walk around school talking about how Chad's parents are fucking clowns.
So my take on this whole thing, and I mentioned this on a response to somebody else, is that say if I'm on a team, and I was on a team, right?
Yeah, you were.
So say if I'm on a team and I have a teammate who wasn't putting in the effort, wasn't doing his work. He got called out, and you know what? Maybe he felt bad, and he said, "Hey guys, fucked up. It won't happen again." And I'm like, at that point, I'm forgetting about it.
I'm done with it.
And I'm moving on.
Right.
And if it happens again, that's when shit gets, you start having you got to start showing me. But that first instance where it's like, hey, I totally fucked up, guys. It's not going to happen again. At that point, you just have to say, all right, man, cool.
But what if his parents fucked your manager's dog and made a fucking horrible show of it and then published it on fucking TikTok
posted it on YouTube? Something. I can't believe they allow that shit.
And then they got arrested, all right, for dog whatever sex things. Okay? Now what do you say?
You wouldn't get arrested in Spain for bestiality.
I tell you what, though, I wouldn't mention it. I wouldn't bring it up. I wouldn't talk about it. I wouldn't say, listen, I'm all
Like a-
fine with Gio, but his parents are dog fuckers. That's what
Like-
he did.
like- I'd be like-
That's
I'd be
what
like-
he did live.
I'm tight with Gio, but I'm not letting the Reynas watch my dog this weekend. Okay.
You know the worst thing, exactly. You know the worst thing about it is he didn't even say that he forgave Gio in that interview. He didn't even say he was ready to move on from the incident at all. All he did was call Gio's parents dog fuckers. That's all he did. That's essentially what he did.
Well, I think even Diego said that he was rubbed the wrong way with how Gio.
I don't care how he was rubbed.
No, he was rubbed
You
the
don't
wrong
bring
way,
it up.
and he hadn't quite forgiven him on that front. Sort of like hey, you got to show me in the upcoming windows that you've changed. That type of mentality.
No, so now he's so what Pulisic is doing is compounding a situation which must already be absolutely awful for Gio. His parents have been accused of being dog fuckers, and now he has to fucking take sort of, the heat for it. And he has a teammate that's calling his own flesh and blood, his parents, dog fuckers, and they've already been called worse in the national press, right? They've been called blackmailers, they've been called extortionists, and now they're being called racists, and sexists, the comments that Rainer made is pretty goddamn sexist. So, I mean, listen, how much more do you want to heap on this fucking kid? These are still his parents.
I think Gio and Pulisic made up though. Look, they're at a bar, they're chilling. Yeah.
He's pointing at him.
It's like, you over there. It's like, hey, what's up, man? They're about to have some beers.
I guess so. That's great news. That's really good news. Maybe Ream set this up. What do you think?
Probably.
Tim Ream set this shit up?
Had to have been.
Maybe they're all past it. We'll see. Was it blackmail? Says Chris Gary. Was it blackmail? It wasn't blackmail. It wasn't extortion. We said that right away. So
100%. Yep, we called that out.
We called out all those motherfuckers on day one. Does Derek think this is real? What part?
This.
It looks real.
Look at the lighting. The lighting alone indicates that they're outdoors.
Asking me that, by the way, is not fair, John, because you have to understand how small this looks on my screen.
No. So Chris Gary had USSF were posting a bunch of photos of the training and stuff like that, and they were showing a bunch of other people and stuff. And Chris Gary goes, show a photo of Reyna and Pulisic as friends. So then I did this.
Oh, you should have told me it's not real then.
I was going to let it go. I mean, I was going to let it go and see what the chat would do, but.
Dude, all right. You're in control of the show. I get it. You get to post up whatever you want, but I wouldn't be like, to me, this looks real from this distance.
I'm stoked.
At this size.
I appreciate my photoshopping ability.
You're a dick. All right. All right. What do we got?
Here's an interesting nugget by Michelle.
Interesting nugget from my chat today with U.S. men's national team striker Ricardo Pepi. Asked for a difference between Hudson and Berhalter. In the attacking third, Anthony has told us that we have more freedom. If you feel and have the capacity to improve something, he's going to let you do it. Whoa!
Shots fired, perhaps?
Oh, kablamo. Yeah. So we're finding out more and more, and we were telling you all this as we went along, right? How fucking suffocating Greg's system is, especially to your center forward.
Yes. How many years have we been going on record saying that Berhalter has no idea what to do with the 9?
None.
And how many arguments came back countering us saying, well, look at Zardes' emergence at Columbus. Clearly, he knew what he was doing, and it was just like, no.
When half his goals were dick goals.
It's just what?
I mean, come on.
What? So this was going around the block, and I was like, finally, we're vindicated. We were chastised for years for saying that Berhalter didn't know the 9.
Yep.
And people didn't believe us, but they're like, no, everybody thought that. I'm like, no. There are plenty of people out there that. Called us bullshitters, for
going back when we first started this fucking show back up. The number one comment I made was what about Greg Berhalter's setup? It's constipating.
Mm-hmm.
These kids can't squeeze a fucking log out. They have been told to play an exact certain way, and they can't let themselves play in a natural. And that's why everything looks so fucking robotic and went nowhere.
How many times have you seen the passing, the heat map, if you will, for passing, and you see basically the 9 is isolated to not having received the ball almost at all.
Yeah.
And it forms a cup around him, and you have the 9 right there in the middle of the cup because all the passes go around him the entire time, and a lot of those crosses on the crosses aren't very accurate. Because we talk about how horrible we are at crossing.
Yep.
And it's like, well, why are we scoring goals? Well, because we don't have anybody who can score at the 9 because we don't utilize the 9.
No, we don't. Don't you even give Berlin Greg a break. I know you're going to say all America has no idea, and I get what you're saying, but how many guys have gotten a chance to do it in the last 4 years? Just one guy, Greg. Just one. We'll see if this opening up for Pepi helps him in the second game because he's not going to start the first. That will be Daryl Deacon.
Even historically speaking, going back, I mean, yeah, I know Josie's like whatever, he's like the 5th highest goal scorer for the national team or whatever. But during that tenure, our most of our goals came from Donovan or Dempsey, who did not play striker for the most part. Dempsey played some striker, but for the most part, all the goals came from the winger, quote unquote winger spot of the empty bucket, if you will.
Well, Altidore scored a bunch of goals in qualification against really shrimpy
teams. He was a Ferreira of his time.
And that was in a 4-2-2 even, which you would think, would have had more opportunity with two guys up top in the Bradley's 4-2-2-2. Yeah, I mean, listen, you can say that we don't know how to use them, but you can also say we haven't had a lot of great strikers yet. We're waiting on one of these guys to blossom into a great striker, which is why we are so hot and heavy and our balls are sweating whenever we hear the words Balogun. All right? Yeah. We get all hot and sweaty.
But I mean, it's promising to see. And like I said, go back to the comment that I had mentioned that somebody else had brought up on Twitter saying that after this window, there's going to be a lot of, we need to hire Hudson as our manager type of comments. I'm like, no, it's not going to happen.
Dude, we're already getting them here.
Yeah. So, I mean, I could look at the call up for this window, the fact that he's making inroads for Balogun, and if he performs well in Nations League, they can start saying like, well, he's doing a good job. But I'm not saying that he should be hired as the manager at that point.
Yeah,
he keeps in line with what some of the players are saying. Like, we don't need to throw the baby out with the bathwater. We need to keep something in line, something that's comfortable. We already have the players. We don't need necessarily somebody coming in here and changing everything up.
Yeah, I mean, listen. Remember when you were a freshman in high school and all the guys were lying about how they were getting laid and stuff, and you hadn't yet? But you had the hots for one of these hot chicks. So you're like, yeah, probably not going to get that. So I'll just settle for that over there. That's not what we
that over there.
That's not what we need to be doing right now.
Yeah.
Hudson is that girl over there. That's what he is. He's
probably not going to hook up with the senior cheerleader lead or anything like that. But I'll just hang up with the slag over there.
He's not very pretty, but he will give it up. And I need to, that's not what we need to be going for right now. We need to stick and focus on getting one of the prettier girls in the room right now. If you want to use a high school party theme. All right. And that's from 1985. That's how that went down then. All right. Better speed this shit up.
Little inception here. So this is us talking about the World Cup. Or not the World Cup, sorry. This is us talking about the Nations League.
Our 11.
Grenada. Yeah, our 11.
Our starting 11.
So I hope to God we don't get copyright struck here, but...
Mike H is asking, I'm speaking from personal experience. Yeah. Probably. I don't know. I came up with that story from somewhere, probably.
All right, let's see what we had to say.
All right.
to Derek's point before we started the show today, is like, hey, let's pull this up because we went through that so quick that I don't know if we'd agree with what we said.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if we would agree, so I wanted to double check.
We kind of basically said, hey, it's going to be a B squad.
And Diego needs to get his ass on the show right quick so that we just sped through it. So,
yes, that's what we said in that show. Yes.
Right.
All right.
Here we
I
go.
think Horvath will get the first game. And
I think Horvath too, yeah.
I think Steffen will get the
Horvath,
second.
You think
Although
Steffen's going to get the second?
no, not Steffen.
Turner.
Turner.
Yeah. No, you know what? I take
Left
that back.
back.
I take that back. I'm actually kind of inclined to say Steffen in this situation.
For the first or second?
First. Then
Yeah,
Turner gets El Salvador.
I know a lot of people are saying no, just start Turner for both games. But I think if you bring Steffen all the way back, you just give him the first game to just get him back into the. Yeah, I think that it's going to be Steffen, then Turner.
Brian DeMarco goes, ugh, not these two.
But these two nitwits.
All right. So are you sticking with Horvath or are you going with Steffen?
No, I think it's going to be Steffen in game one, and then Turner.
The
Game two.
lineup up so I can remember who the fuck's there.
Yeah, it's the difference, right? Whoa, watch your language. It's not showing. I'm looking at my screen like, Derek, why can't you see what I'm showing you here?
Oh, there was some motherfucker in the side
right,
comments,
left back.
by the way, who was like, Derek wears the same fucking shirt every night. No, I don't, motherfucker. Look at this. Ain't the same shirt.
It is a black shirt, but
it ain't the same.
There's no straight red card.
But
I have to worry about that too. I'm always like, man, is this the same polo that I wore that day? And every now and then I just have to change it to a T-shirt because
you know what's funny?
Mix it up a bit.
I own like 20 of the gray black shirts on the right, and I only own one of these. And I would usually just wash this once a week or once every 2 weeks and just wear it only for the show, and that's it. So, but it was in the dirty clothes, so I had to wear that one.
Adam, look at my shirt right here. What is this? This is a collar. And look at my shirt on the picture. That's no collar. It's clearly a T-shirt.
You just glued some collars on tonight.
Yeah, exactly. This is exact. I got the whoop. Yeah.
And I just glued this on the shirt that I was wearing the other night. All right. Let's go.
If you're not going to play, I think Jedi plays both games. Maybe no, he's tired. He's been playing the whole fucking season.
I wouldn't worry about. I'd probably play Scally, quite frankly.
All right, Scally out left,
Scally.
out right. Let's give Reynolds some time.
Mm-hmm. Are we going with a B squad? It's got to be Scally and Reynolds.
Absolutely.
I think you're a little more consistent. We already know that it's going to be Ream and it's going to be Robinson.
Shit.
We already know.
Yeah, we can skip
play Tim Ream and whoever.
I think it's Ream and
Robinson.
Robinson is my
They
guess.
did the interview. You're starting.
All right, guys.
Unless they really go serious B team, which I don't think you can do with yourself.
Oh, I thought that was you talking.
No, I haven't said a word.
I paused just so I could hear you talk over yourself.
Oh, that's funny.
Center backs.
No,
I think that's
you
one
need
of those.
You need some consistency there. Oh,
Yeah.
Come on.
Midfielders. We got to pick
This one's tough.
3. Let's
I
see.
still think it's going to be
Who's going to play
and,
for Adams?
look at
That'll
it.
be
Well,
Cardoso.
no. Here's the big question: do we play the double pivot? I mean, I guess
No.
we can't play it until we find out.
Okay,
who
pause
does
it.
play it.
Do you now think it's going to be Gio, Luca De La Torre, and who else?
Musa.
Really? You think they're gonna play Reyna?
So Diego talked about McKinney probably not going to get the start because he took the extra day, and he'll play against El Salvador, or maybe come in a late sub or whatever. But I think it's going to be Musa and Luca De La Torre, and then insert a third midfielder there. And the fact that we just got done talking about how Reyna played in the central role in the media thing, I wouldn't be surprised.
You're smoking the grass on that one because I don't believe that Reyna's going to play anything that looks even remotely like a 10 if he plays in midfield, and I don't see him playing because of that. Not in the midfield. I think he's playing out left, and I think you're going to see Zendejas out right with DK up top.
So I could see Booth and Zendejas, and then with DK up top.
Where are you going to play Booth?
Doesn't matter. You can play Booth or Zendejas, wherever you want to play.
Booth exclusively plays on the right.
Sure, at his club.
Whatever club he's ever been in. Yeah. Now Pete had Booth playing midfield. I'm like, okay, no.
Well, no. In his defense, though, he did in fact play in the midfield at some points with Bayern.
Dude,
this is before going to Utrecht.
So you're going to take when he was playing with the Bayern.
Didn't he play in the center trio when he played for us in a Camp Cupcake? I believe he did.
Okay. A, you just brought up Camp Cupcake. B, Pete and you both brought up. Just let me fucking finish.
I'm not.
Both you and Pete bring up Bayern's youth teams as if that's some sort of example. It's not. And nor does the fact that he played it in Camp Cupcake. The fact is that Booth has been excelling out on the right wing with Utrecht. Why are you going to shift him back to the midfield, which he hasn't played for a year? You're going to push him back to where he played a year ago, 8 months ago, 2 years ago with Bayern youth teams?
You act as if experience is not experience. He has capabilities of playing there. I'm not saying he's going to play in the midfield.
Good. At least you're not pushing.
I'm not saying that.
Pete's pushing that.
He could, because he has before in the past.
Brett, that's just not how this works. I mean, like I said, I've been an 80s porn star. That doesn't mean it lasts forever. Sometimes you got to move on. And in this case,
nobody says that you last forever.
Booth has moved on to a position at Utrecht that he excels at. And I don't see why you would
Adam
take him
Wiggins
away.
saw on Twitter earlier that Hudson has Pulisic as captain tomorrow.
So if Pulisic plays tomorrow, then it's Pulisic on the left and it's Zendejas on the right. And I mean, I don't know what to believe, Adam. We saw it on Twitter, but I mean, I've seen weird shit on Twitter, so I'm not sure what to believe. This would be one game I don't play Pulisic because I'm not playing him on a goat patch. Not playing him on a goat patch.
And that's the best way of describing it, really. And like we mentioned last show that I saw a video of a friendly that occurred on that same goat patch, and I said I saw better looking artificial turf fields in the 90s in Indiana.
Yeah.
Than I saw on that field.
I played on a football field in high school. Believe me, I know what a goat patch looks like. Who would win in a fight?
Yep, I just pulled that up. Yep.
Dude, that's not even fucking close. Even though we're both older, we are much larger mammals than those two guys. Way much larger.
I assume his fight means not necessarily a physical,
No, I think that's what he's asking.
I'm wondering if he means on a verbal debate fight, and I still think it'd be the same thing. I still think we'd win because you and I would argue the point even if we know that we're wrong.
That's probably true. But in a physical fight, it's not fair because we're just larger people. And by the way, I wrestled, I boxed, and then Brett's just a large man. So it's not really fair. It wouldn't be a fair fight.
I've got 1 foot though right now, so I'm not the fastest of movers.
You wouldn't.
Mike does say that it's punches. He doesn't give a fuck about us debating.
That's what I told you. Yes, he just wanted to know
fisticuffs. Yeah,
yeah. I mean, just look at this fucking forearm. Come on, ask those two to raise their forearms up. Do they have Popeye forearms?
Derek takes much more than 11 yanks.
I do. Right. I take at least 101. I'm old and it takes a while. And then sometimes I have to restart because I lose interest. All right. What else? I think we just did it. We talked about the whole lineup. I think we're going with DK up top, Zendejas out right, Reyna out left. No, you don't agree with me.
I'm just saying, based off of what I'm seeing from the media and everything like that with Hudson, as far as playing him more centrally located, I wanna believe.
I want to believe it.
I want to believe that we're gonna play with a 10.
That. Yes, I want
a dual pivot with a Musa and Luka De La Torre, the dual pivot. Give us a 10.
Give us a 4-2-3-1. Fuck, please do it. If it happens, I will come on the show and say, okay.
Don't come on the show, Derek.
I will come on the show and then I will say, Hudson, I have a little more respect for you than I did before because you're not following this dogmatic fucking Triple G horse shit. You're like, listen, I got the player to play as a number 10, and I'm going to play him as a number 10. I like that because we have players that are good in that position. We've got fucking Reyna. Booth could play that position.
Mihailovic could play that position.
Aronson, Mihailovic. We're full of players who could play at 10, but we haven't played one in so long. I hope the players haven't forgot how to do it.
God forbid that we actually play with a 2-striker formation. That would just be fucking nuts. Blow my mind. And I think I jokingly made this comment. Dispossessed posted on Twitter. He's like, well, if it's going to be the 4-3, he went with the 4-3-3 because somebody talked about where Reynolds was going to play and stuff like that. And I'd do it like this. And I'm like, God forbid we actually play with a 2-striker formation. I think the world would be amazed and in awe at our soccer prowess. So we do something that nobody's ever done before, and that's play a 2-striker formation.
A 4-2-2-2 would be nice. I take that as a double pivot too.
There we go. Yeah.
Brett and what was this one thing? Somebody said Brett and Pete are pretty close in age. Are you? I thought you were probably like he's in his 30s.
So am I.
You're
technically speaking.
Okay. You are?
I'm a couple months away from not being in my 30s anymore.
Okay. I thought he was
39 currently. I think he's like in mid 30s.
Yeah, that's
early mid 30s area.
I am the old motherfucker out of all of
us.
us. Yeah. I'm 51. So
yeah, but I've got kids. I've got 0 fucks to give at this point. I'm like, pick my ass.
What do you mean? Your whole day is giving fucks.
That's what I'm saying. I've got 0 fucks to give at that point.
Yeah, you're just worn out.
All the frustration from dealing with them pent up over the weeks. All is going to come out. That's what's happened.
No, that was a little disturbing, but all right.
It's all going to come out.
This is how I poop. All right. What else we got? Oh, let's go and do the final. This will be the last thing we do.
No, it's not, Derek. We got to still do our Twitter questions. You're the one that asked everybody to go to our Twitter and do this.
All right. This is going to be a little tough to do because we're going to immediately get canceled for playing this.
Probably. All right, so you said it was the first 2 questions, right? And then plus the 5-minute marker?
Yeah, it's really hilarious all of a sudden now that Greg is gone, how some of these dudes listen to these first 2 questions. And Ream is just rolling his eyes during these questions, but which I found fucking hilarious. But they're both pretty like hard-hitting. Hey, how about this fucking disease you guys have named Gio Reyna? How you going to work with that disease, Gio Reyna? What about
we're trying to push this U.S. men's national team narrative, but you're not letting us.
His parents have fucking herpes, and so he must have it too. How are you going to deal with it? This is what they asked.
I'm pretty sure that he took some Herpecil, and he's good now, actually.
Is that true? You can take Herpecil for herpes?
I think it keeps it in bay. I don't think it actually cures the shit.
Yeah, I didn't think there was.
I think herpes are forever.
Yeah,
but I think Herpecil is to keep it in bay.
And they named it Herpecil.
Herpecil. Yeah.
Isn't that kind of embarrassing if you have to go buy it? You're like, you go to the pharmaceutical or the whatever and pharmacy, and you go, I need some Herpecil. Yeah. Oh, so you got herpes? Couldn't they name something more obscure? Like
they're like the people at the cash register are trying to scan it, but it's not scanning. Price check on Herpecil. Price check on Herpecil.
We've got a Clint John here looking for a price on the Herpecil.
I'm buying this for somebody else. I swear to God. It's not for me. It's not for me.
Aisle 5 need help with customer trying to buy Herpecil.
3/4 of the way down the aisle. 3rd row, please.
They couldn't come up with a better name. That's unbelievable. All right.
All right.
Here we go.
Tim, a not easy one to start off with for you. Told MLS that you had called a bunch of guys recently to sort of check in to see your words were if their heads were on right before the camp. Is there a desire from the group, from the leaders?
I got to pause it here. We're at 60 minutes. He hasn't got to anything yet.
I know he bullshitted for a while.
Seriously.
The group to consciously avoid any awkwardness and ensure that Gio is welcomed back as an equal part of the group. And if so, what's kind of being done by you guys?
All right, break. Okay, go.
God, this is ridiculous. I hate having to do this, but
I know it's the longest question in the fucking world.
By the leaders, either before or since you got to Florida, to maybe sort of allay.
I got to pause it again.
That Gio might have had about how he might be received especially on the heels of the report that came out. And how
Jesus Christ.
I do have to pause it again. Oh my God.
Are you writing a fucking book? Or are you asking a question, motherfucker? That's what I would have said if I were
Look at their stares. They're going like, I've already forgot what you're talking about. We're talking about Herpacil, right?
You get 3 sentences, Peckerwood.
Or Dick Wartzazil.
This is like the most rambling fucking question ever. God. Who is
what he's
this?
trying to say here. He's saying, hey, is it really awkward to have Gio back in the window? That's all you had to ask.
Exactly.
What you had?
And by the way,
5 seconds.
If you really want to make things awkward, then you make a conscious...
Today, Junior.
Then you make a cut, because he's asking, he said, are you guys making a conscious effort to not make it awkward? No, I think that's what makes it awkward. If you make a conscious effort for it not to be awkward, that's what happens when you make a conscious effort. That's just ridiculous.
It would have been funny if Miles and Ream kind of looked at each other and like, no.
Well,
that's all they said. That's all they said. That would have been That would be hysterical.
That would have been great. But this guy doesn't understand how human beings work. If you get to camp and everybody makes a conscious effort to make sure Reyna isn't uncomfortable, that's going to make him uncomfortable because he realizes everybody's making a conscious fucking effort to do so. This guy knows nothing about the human experience, how humans work, how teams work.
God.
It's
45 seconds. 45 seconds in, not even done yet. Here you can summarize it all going, how awkward is it to have Gio in camp?
Yeah. I mean, I want him to ask hard-hitting questions, but could he fucking unload?
I'm going to beat around the bush for 45 seconds and then get to my question before I get cut off.
Can you shoot your fucking load yet? Shoot your fucking load. Get it over with. Go.
Am I going to have to stop again?
How him handle himself so far?
Oh, thank Christ.
The biggest thing is making sure that everybody knows we're here for a reason. And what's happened with Gio in the past is in the past, and what happened at the World Cup happened at the World Cup, and we moved on from.
All right, we moved on.
Can we go forward and find the next question?
I mean, let's give a time frame.
I don't, but it's whenever Ream stops talking.
All right, hold on. I guess. Nope.
Are you sure?
Maybe this is it.
There we go.
Oh, fuck.
Trails.
Oh, man. He will roll his fucking eyes at this one. This is great. He's like, oh, fuck, another one. Really? Is this what we're going to talk about all fucking day?
Yeah, just to follow up on that, Tim, have you had conversations with Gio just to try to kind of see where his head is at and how he's been able to kind of work his way back into the group over the first couple of days of training?
There it is. There's a little roll.
Together as a team as well.
When you say head, are you talking about like the top of his cock, or are you talking about his skull? You just start fucking with these guys. I mean, seriously, this is ridiculous.
It's just like, they should have walked in and flat out said, "Hey, anything about Gio? This has all been dealt with at the World Cup. We don't need to ask questions about it because it's fine."
Well, it's been pretty obvious since nobody else but Tim Ream got asked this question that U.S. officials told them the only guy you're allowed to ask questions, the Reyna questions about to, is Tim Ream. That's it, because nobody else got these questions. No one else in the interview process got these sticky questions, these gooey, sticky questions that Ream had to answer, because they knew that Tim Ream's the only one who could answer it right.
Well,
and not
I guess Vodka had it right. He said that Ream was assigned as babysitter for Gio from the get-go. And maybe USSF is kind of like, hey, you know what? Maybe we should just leave the answers to Ream because he's going to handle this well.
He used to be Reyna's babysitter back in the day, remember?
Yeah, I do.
So why not assign him to that job again? Here, yes.
Yes, I have. I've had individual conversations with him. Those will stay between him and I, because I think that's important to have that kind of line of communication and trust between players, between teammates.
Okay, that's all we need to know.
But that almost sounds kind of like a slight to Berhalter. And again, I might be looking too much into this. The whole breaking of the trust, the breaking of the locker room trust, as far as leaking, not him leaking per se, but still saying the story at the Immoral conference that he went to,
right,
where he spouted off the story behind Gio, and there are plenty of former players that came out after that came out and said he shouldn't have said that. What happens in the locker room stays in the locker room. You're not you break the trust when you start spouting off things that happened during that time period.
That's correct.
But that's what it sounded like right there. He's like, hey, he has to feel comfortable with me.
You ready for more?
I do.
Because we're going from low key shade to mid shade here at 5 minutes. Yep, on the mark.
On the right foot.
Next will be Ron Blum from the Associated Press.
Hi, Tim. As you look at the coaching situation, would you like to see U.S. Soccer keep Greg? What are his positive and negative attributes, and if they look for someone else?
Is this a resume? I mean, are you interviewing for a job here? What are your biggest weaknesses? Well, I work too hard.
What are his positives and negatives? Well, he's really got a big cock, but his balls are small and shriveled. He's got
a nice shoe collection and all these Starbucks cups. He keeps going on about these Starbucks cups, and he's got a lot of them. I just don't know why.
He's got a great bounce pass. He doesn't piss on us when we're in the showers. That's really good about him.
That's only happened to Pepi. It only at Augsburg. So
what a silly question. But I guess
there is positives and negatives.
Yeah, here we go.
Why?
Would you like to see in the next coach?
Yeah, I just think for us players, I think bringing him back is a familiarity. It's the togetherness that he brought to the team after it was very, very much kind of sporadic and fractured.
And he's talking about right after when they didn't qualify. It was, we knew a bunch of the old guys were going to be gone. So he faced that challenge. That's what he's giving Greg so far. He put a team together after all the old guys
Dave brought the team together after they failed, and then Berhalter came in and basically played the same.
Dave did play a lot of the young guys before Berhalter even got there. Yes.
Got to hand out some props there.
So he's given him a very tiny little compliment so far. That's it.
We qualified, right?
Yeah. Well, we'll see.
When he first came in, and it was a big transition with a lot of new guys coming into the program. I think he did a fantastic job in that aspect, and he put and laid very, very
and played a bunch of CONCACAF teams.
Yes.
Played a bunch of CONCACAF teams, but laid that foundation.
He said laid. I thought he was going to say laid some pipe, but no, he doesn't go there. All right.
Nope.
Very good foundations for the team. Whether he comes back or not is, for us as players,
whether he comes back or not, whatever. We'll do it.
Let me explain what he just did there. Whether he comes back or not, fuck, I don't give a fuck.
He censored himself. He's like, right, am I right?
I do not give a fuck if he comes back or not. Well, that's what that was.
Do you remember when Ream talked about getting a call from Berhalter as far as the World Cup? He's like, I had to hang up with him. I couldn't talk to him. I'm like, I didn't believe it. And then we talked later about it.
Yeah,
I didn't believe it. It's like,
I love this though, and whether or not Greg coming back.
Yeah, you say potato.
All that is basically him saying, "I'm getting a fucking rat's ass."
I don't give a fuck. He's like, wait, how many coaches has Ream gone through in his lifetime? He's like, new coach is a new coach. It's just part of life.
Shit, how many on Fulham alone?
Yeah, exactly.
Christ, he's finally got one he's going to keep for a while now.
Yeah.
Well, because some other big team's going to try to steal that Fulham guy.
Probably Chelsea.
It could be. No, that's not even a joke. If Potter goes, he is on everybody's top list as a guy you bring in. So that's the problem for Fulham next season. They may not have their coach anymore.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Are we still doing more of this?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think
Just continue.
Yeah, he does some more.
It's not it's not something that we really worry about
There
or
you go.
are concerned about, because it's not, it's not our job to hire.
That's true.
Same narrative that Pulisic said though too.
Yeah.
It's not my job to hire the next coach, and I'll give 100% regardless of who's coaching us. But if it's Greg, yeah, it's familiar, right?
Well, unlike Pulisic, who was handed Greg's balls and fondled them, I mean, when he was asked the same question, Ream went psh, and just slapped that shit.
Get out of my face!
Get those fucking balls out of my face! So totally different reaction, though, even though some of the same verbiage.
Well, I mean, here's the problem, though. I mean, I know Ream's like 36 years old, and he's got another 20 years left on his career. He should be concerned about Peralta.
He's a lot less concerned, apparently, because apparently, we know the conversation that went on between those two, which was, "Hey, I know I haven't called you up for a goddamn eon, but we really need you at the World Cup." Yeah. And what did Ream go? Get the fuck out of here! You kidding me?
I know. Similar to Brooks, I said you were really slow and you can't play the formation and style that I want you to play. But we've had a couple of injuries, and
we've had a change of heart.
We're probably going to change some things up in the World Cup too. Not how we played in the qualifiers by any means. We only did that for CONCACAF.
I think Ream should have said, "Can you just admit before I say yes that you were short-sighted by leaving me off the team this long?" Yeah. Admit it, Greg. Say it. I'm not going to be on the team unless you say you were short-sighted by leaving me off the team this long. Okay, Tim. I was short-sighted for not bringing you on the team until now.
Got that shit recorded, bitch.
I love Tim Ream so much. All right, you can finish this. It's not too much longer.
That for that position. So, listen, if they bring him back, obviously we'll continue to work on him. If they don't, we'll continue to work under somebody else, and that's the nature of what we do as players. That's the nature of the sport. There's sometimes there's continuity and sometimes there's change, and we'll roll with whatever happens.
Hey, it's like I didn't actually watch this beforehand, but it's like I watched this beforehand.
I know, it's like you wrote the script for him. All right.
We'll do whatever. Who cares who's coaching?
Still love the thing. That's the best part. All right. We better get to these fucking questions that I asked people to send in before we get the night over here. So let's do it. Who knew the show was going to be over 2 hours long? I had no idea. Yeah, you knew. I didn't.
All right. First off, just make sure none of these new things popping on. We'll do that. And then we'll come up here. Oh, no. Never mind. Okay.
Anonymity. Stop speaking German. There's some words you're using. I don't even know what they are. It's been that long, my friend.
All right. Here we go. Zoom in.
Sorry. He used the word. I can't even remember what it was. Can you go back up to that word? I've never. Okay. LETZTE. I have a 5-year-old's German. That's as good as I get. 5 years old.
LEZTE. LETZTE.
I've never seen that word. Letzter. I don't know that word.
Does this help?
Well, that one's easy, but the other one, I've never seen that word Letzter before. Anyhow, let's move on. All right, so will landing Balogun be a bigger get than what could have been with Giuseppe Rossi? Balogun could very well be a starter for Arsenal next season and maybe the solution to our number 9 problem. Yeah, he could be. I don't think I'm going to compare him to Rossi, though, because Rossi
was tricky. Because he was a starter for Villarreal for all there.
Unless you're wishing that Balogun has a string of basically career-ending injuries.
Knee injury after the Morris take here in this situation. Knee injury after knee injury after knee injury, and just like, fuck, that sucks.
Yeah.
No, and being one of the few U.S. men's national team fans that was not heartbroken with Rossi's exclusion, him going to Italy, I would say, no, I think Balogun would hurt us worse.
I don't think that Rossi would have been much good to us because of how much injured he was. I mean, it's just too much. He would have been there for what? 1-2 World Cups best? I don't know.
No. Maybe one.
Maybe one. Yeah.
Maybe one. Maybe in the 2010 one, right? Because he played in the Confederations Cup. Was he injured for that 2010?
I believe
I
so.
don't recall,
Yeah.
I don't recall, man.
He was injured so much.
Oh, so much.
I start feeling bad for him.
100%. 100% felt bad for the guy.
Yep. What else we got? Anybody else find it odd that Anthony Hudson is better at not only handling the media than Greg? This is true, but seems to be more open trying new formations. I'm hoping you're right, Chambers, because I want to see a 4-2-3-1. My guess is he knows he's gone, and he's using the time with the Nats as an interview for.
I said this too at some point throughout the week last week. I'm like, yeah. People are like, oh, I'm so impressed. Like, I think he knows that he's gone, and he's doing this to show future employers that he can do some shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think I made that comment when he announced the pretty much all Euro roster and like brought in only Robinson as the lone MLS player because the whole quota debate is still active.
I mean, if you really thought that Greg Berhalter was going to go get a really good job in Europe somewhere, you probably wouldn't throw any shade at all his direction, not even like remote low-key shade. But it seems to me that he is in a lot of ways changing the freedom the players are having. Mm-hmm. They're talking about it. And if he really goes out and uses a different formation outside of Greg's 4-3-3, I mean, is that not a squirt in the eye to Greg Berhalter? But he has no worry whatsoever that Greg's going to get a good fucking European job. So what is he worried about? He's not.
It's one of those things like, like I said, looking at the quotes and watching the interviews and stuff like that. And we're sitting there like, oh, that feels like that's shade towards Berhalter. Are we just looking for shade towards Berhalter? Or is that in fact shade towards Berhalter?
Yeah.
You never know.
It seems a little shady, but not like massive. He hasn't done anything to really discount himself from being Greg's assistant wherever Greg goes, which won't be very far up anywhere. So maybe an MLS club. Are Leeds problems fixed if they bench Aronson and Adams? Fuck no. I don't think so. I don't know about benching them, but people were talking about they like the way McKenzie and Roca work together.
McKenny.
God damn it. Yes, McKenny. And I can see that. If you bench Aronson and you bring in Sinistera for him, you could.
Aronson,
really
I can see, understand. I don't understand Adams in that sense. Personally, I think Adams and Roca, and then you put McKinney in more of the 10 role if that's it.
It depends on how you want to play, right?
Sure.
If you don't want if you don't want a CDM who's limited skill wise going forward, which Adams absolutely is, but Roca is not, and McKinney is not. You can play both of those guys as box to box, double pivots, and then you can be more of an attacking team against teams you're supposed to beat. While Adams has limitations, frankly.
So BMR asks, why would they bench Adams? And to the point is that people have been really quick to point out the limitations of Adams without necessarily pointing out what Adams does bring to the team too.
Yeah.
And I've said for a couple of years, at least under Berhalter's tenure, that with Adams, the best thing he can do is sit back, break up the play, get the ball off his foot, let other people do the creative, moving the ball forward shit. But Adams is absolutely I'm going to break up this play, disrupt the attack, and move it forward type of.
It'll be interesting to see what Gracias does going forward because honestly,
and Roca's been very inconsistent too. So I'm not sure why everybody's so head over heels for Roca, quite frankly.
Yeah, defensively he can be a liability sometimes too. So there's that. I mean,
a lot of errant and stupid passes, trying to do stuff. Don't get me wrong, but I mean, just a lot of times it fails.
In a 4-3-3, you can play all three of them, but is he going to do that? And if you're going to stick to the double pivot, you could do a box-to-box pivot, double pivot behind the front four. So anyhow, I think Anonymity was asking who's the hipster? Naturlish. I'm the hipster, buddy. I'm the hipster. I was the guy in the indie rock band. Come on.
Berlin, you've already covered your comment here.
Yep.
So we're going to move forward here.
Want to get your thoughts on the Prem. Will City catch Arsenal? Also, spots 12 to 20 are within the realm of relegation with only 4 points separating
4 points,
those. Who are the three that you think get relegated? Wow. Can we see the table?
Yeah, I was just about to say, let's pull it up here.
Now he's speaking Spanish. We German. Now we're moving on to Spanish. Muchas gracias. All right.
So from Crystal Palace down, basically.
Yeah.
Was that?
yeah.
I mean, look at that point difference between those two. Shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. The bottom half, man, is just like all separated by 4 points.
God,
This
I really
changed so much.
I think Southampton is doomed. I really do. I don't think there's any hope there.
I think you're right on that one.
I think similarly, Bournemouth are doomed. I think it's still a battle between West Ham, Leicester, Forest, Everton, and Leeds, and Wolves. So I'm not ready to call.
So we know the
18th
bottom
spot.
two basically is what you're saying.
I can only give you two.
I can only give you 100% because at any point a string of bad performances can really fuck you in the end here.
But let's face it, Leicester have been bad, and they look like they are the ones itching to go down into the 18th spot right now.
BMR says Southampton, Bournemouth, and Forest.
Yeah, but Forest surprises you sometimes.
Yeah.
And you're like, how the fuck they win that game or get a point out of that game? So I don't know. To me,
Southampton, Bournemouth, and Leicester.
The worst team right now besides Southampton and Bournemouth, or at least playing the worst right now, is Leicester. Now, they could turn that around. They got a great coach, but he doesn't have a lot to work with like he has in the past. And they're not buying him any help.
That's the fascinating aspect. I mean, you went from a team that came up out of nowhere, won the league, and has been a contender ever since. And then all of a sudden, bam.
Top 10 contender, always in the top 10. Now, they spent a whole, basically, bunch of transfer windows selling their best players and not buying anybody of any note. So, that's her. We've got more Dixon Cider talk. All right.
Oh, let's see here. We got a bingo, apparently. Oh, it's going across.
It's across.
We don't play at 10. It wasn't blackmail. We got the free space. Almost had Sharks, too, man. Look at that. Transfer rumors, and then Derek's drink.
I think that was – he cheated on Derek's drink, though.
Yeah, he totally got you on that one. But I was telling you about that. All right, Chris Gary's our first official bingo winner.
And
tell him what he's won.
Celebrate the Balogun sweepstakes with 3 more bingo. Okay, so we got one. Okay, those are the cards.
We're going to show those, yeah.
All right. Are we done?
Mitch, who's eating pussy.
That one I wish was that Florida representative. I wish he would have said that. And even Aiden Pussy objects.
Mitch, you got to send this one to Pete. I'd like to see if we get on that one.
I think he might get Pete with that one.
Pussy.
Yeah.
Whoever wins gets a free bottle of KY. No, not really. Let's see here. Adam also says Deacon Clapcheeks says Christian will wear the captain's band. Here we go.
Anthony Hudson said.
Okay.
Wow. So that basically kicks Reyna off of our list of starting on the left wing.
I that's why I've kind of been saying that I think he's going to be in the midfield.
Yeah, you might be right. I mean, listen, if he comes out and plays a 4-2-3-1, I am going to fucking celebrate. I'm not going to break out the KY or anything because I've got to focus on the game and take notes, but I am going to be happy about it. So bust
that out afterwards. Yeah.
All right. I think we're about done here, folks. It's been a great evening. I can't believe it went on for, I think this might be a new record for the show. 2 hours and 20 minutes.
I don't know. I don't know where Meg's show ended up. Meg, I thought was the longest show, but maybe we caught up to it.
It was the longest show for me, buddy.
She's never going to be back on her show. Thanks, Derek.
Come on. That was just a joke. Meg can take a joke.
No, I know she can.
Yeah. She's great. Oh, by the way, Brett, can you confirm this? Because this didn't happen to my wife. Women's feet grow during pregnancy.
They swell up.
I was told they grow, and I'm like, I've never heard of it growing.
As far as I know, Evie never had to buy a bunch of new shoes because her feet grew while pregnant, but they do swell.
That's what I was like. I was like, no, my wife did not. Her feet did not grow. They were swollen. No, like, and this chick at work's like, no, they grow. I'm like, they grow? What? No, they don't. No, she insisted she had to go out and buy a bunch of new shoes after pregnancy. I thought that was weird shit. Anyhow, I just thought
that's new to me.
I had to check with somebody who's also had kids to see if they experienced the same thing this chick's experiencing. Anyhow, she's a crown and full to break the record. I don't think that's probably going to happen, but we appreciate the idea, Chris. Anyhow, we do love all you guys. Make sure that you like, subscribe, share it with your grandma, of course. And whatever you do, do not fuck your stepsister. Good night.
But she's a trap. She's an unsung novel. Turn a lap and get your whole world dazzled on a line, or a phone call with or without wine.
You're gonna do her. Yeah.
Oh no!